morning, everybody. Welcome on in. Today is Friday, February 16th, and we have a great show for y'all today. Here I've got squats. Today we are going to max squats, and hopefully we get what we're looking for. That's going to be the goal. That's been the goal since day one. I bumped up max week, and I can explain a little bit why I did that, the rationale behind my decision if need be. But what we're going to do first is we're going to warm up. I need to warm up and stretch properly today. If I'm going for a max, that's going to be crucial. So we're going to start there. Also going to go ahead and get the Bluetooth working on this bad boy. So here we go. Let's start off, get the heart rate pumping a bit with some jump rope. We usually do this, so we just try to find a little room here. Keep hitting the rack. That's not ideal. I'm going to move the tripod over a bit so maybe I can do this properly. That'll do. Don't need much. We do plenty of warming up today. If you got stomachs, you're making bank. I sure am. I had about 125 shares of Coinbase. Now I had sold a covered call at 170, but that's still a lot of profit. Coinbase smashed earnings expectations, and well, that call is very much in the money now. So I think pre-market it was sitting at 187. So in all likelihood, Theta will probably bring that back down. Usually, you don't see a 12, 13% swing in one day without a little bit of a correction the following day, but it's looking good. Yeah, as far as financial independence, if we're counting it instead of money by time, we're counting it by raw money. Net worth is 94% of the way it needs to be to get to the original goal. So that's the good news. Go ahead and this is very loose. There we go. Okay. Hey, thank you very much, Big Game Mikey, for the watch streak. So, what was I saying? Right. Today we are going to be hitting squats for max. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is a lot of warm-up reps, because more importantly, and we're going to be doing this flat-footed today by necessity, really. And the reason I'm saying we're going to be doing lots of warm-ups is because I want to make sure that I have the feel done correctly for how deep I need to be going. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to try and load my Twitch stream on my phone so I can see it in as close to real time as I can. I'm still going to be relying and depending on y'all, to check me on the heavier squats, because I don't think, for those of you who aren't intimately familiar with lifting, the closer you get to your max, the more you're really having to just focus on smashing that weight up at all costs, ramming that bar back up. You kind of get into a sort of a tunnel vision where you're not really looking at anything in particular. It's just visual cues. You train yourself. For me, I try to keep my head up, because if a squat, if you keep your head up, you're much more likely to keep a flat back. If you take your head down, right, it's a lot easier for your back to round, and that's how you get hurt. So, right, that's a cue, but because of that, right, I'm not going to be able to look and be like, oh yeah, I'm hitting depth in real time. Not to mention it's because there's a delay on the stream, right? So, when I do it, y'all will see me do it 5 seconds after I actually do it, or something like that. No matter how, small you make No matter how small you make the delay, there will always be some sort of delay there. So it's not truly, I can't truly do this in real time, but this is the best I can do, so we're gonna work with that. Right now, my phone and Bluetooth headphones do not appear to be wanting to cooperate, which is annoying, but we gotta start, so we go ahead and, okay, first off, I need to practice my walkout, make sure my walkout is good. You gotta get, right, for a 1 rep max, you wanna make sure everything is correct. I wasn't even thinking about that, right? I gotta make sure, even when I'm warming up, I practice walking out the way I would with the heavy weight. Right, okay, so what do we got here? We got crease to the hips, the top of the kneecaps. I think these bars are a bit low because this is substantially below parallel here, right? And you can see this is, now my back's rounded. We don't want this, right? We want a straight back, but we want parallel depth right around there somewhere. See, and this is why I want to get this on my Twitch stream. I don't have a good feel for where that's supposed to be. That felt so low that even if I failed, it was going to crush me underneath. I wasn't actually going to be able to set the bar down, so I really need to take a better look at this. And I know this seems like overkill, but it's got to count. So you never go that low. Yeah. Are you really keeping track of your stream count with Roman numerals? Yep. I've been doing that since 2019, I think. They're like 300 and they're like close to 350 at this point, somewhere around there. Yeah. Thank you, by the way. 15 watch streak. That's pretty spectacular. But yeah, I've been doing it with Roman numerals this whole time. You're the first to notice. I have no reason to do it that way. I just thought it was fun, and then I kind of stuck to it. Why the hell are these headphones not connecting today? Turn Bluetooth back on, see if that helps. Bluetooth is deciding, hey, what if I just like decided to not today? We're gonna forget you and then reconnect you. Available devices. They're really annoying. It's just deciding, hey, what if I were to like be completely unhelpful today? There we go. Anyway, while I think I got it done working properly. We'll find out. While it's doing that, we go ahead and put on our first set of plates. And I wouldn't normally use a belt at this low a weight, but again, I really kind of want to simulate everything accurately, so probably do that. Oh, come on, just pair. Yes. There we go, finally. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now, what I can do is view my own channel. Perfect, this is what we're looking for. Okay, that's fine. I'll live with it like that. So we're gonna go ahead and do our next set. So what we want is parallel, and we just gotta find where that is. Really get a good idea, get a good form of it now. If we figure it out properly now, right, I don't have to rely on guessing so much when I get to the heavy stuff. Oh, what the fuck? Just stay connected. Why are you doing this, Bluetooth? Oh my God. For fuck's sake. I just want you to... Ah, the entire phone's frozen. Fuck it. Forget it. Forget it. I'm overthinking this. Let's just. So, right, when I say parallel, I'm saying crease of the hips at the top of the kneecaps. So, this is about parallel, I think. It's hard to tell. Now I'm going, this is below parallel for sure. The reason I'm going this low at the moment is to really stretch out the glutes, and importantly the hamstrings. Make sure they're nice and warm. All right, felt pretty good. I really wish it says system UI is not responding. Twitch isn't responding, and my phone just cracked itself. Okay, we are having some technical difficulties this morning, is what this looks like. Really not what I was hoping for, but now it's completely. We're just gonna restart my phone. So that's annoying. That's properly annoying. Of all the days my phone's deciding to glitch itself, it picked the day where I wanted to rely on it to ensure that I was actually hitting depth. But you guys are saying parallel, so that eases my conscience a bit. Right, the reason I'm so up in arms about this today is because what I really don't want is to be like, you know, half an inch above parallel, get done my stream, and then come back and look at it and be like, oh, for God's sake, it doesn't count, you know? Because that's legit, you know, if you're not hitting parallel and you're saying, well, I can squat X, people can say, yeah, but you didn't actually squat to parallel, so you can't really squat X. And then it's fair. It's a fair criticism. So, my phone's rebooting itself. We'll take it slow. We'll hit the next step for prep, for warm-ups. I really wanted to do this live, but looks like I'm not getting that option today. To quote a certain Rolling Stone singer, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Let's see. Part of me's debating whether or not I want to do this with plates or flat feet. I think I'm going to do it with flat feet just because, depending on how I want to do the plates, it's probably better that way. We're going to do it with flat feet. Okay, it looks like my phone's finished pooping itself. It says I have a voicemail. This was yesterday's voicemail. Dios mio. What are you going to do? I love how Dom counts CrossFitter pull-ups as 0, 0, 0, 0. See now, okay, that's not helpful though, right? If you're doing, right, you know, if you're going for CrossFit, the whole point of CrossFit is that you're supposed to really keep your heart rate up. Now, if you are trying to, like, you know, max out for reps, and someone, you know, you're saying, hey, spot me, count them off, whatever, you know, don't just say 0, 0, 0, because that's not helpful. That's not telling the person doing them, yo, you need to fix your form. Well, I mean, it's saying that, but it doesn't give you a specific, hey, do this to fix your form, right? You know, it's the same thing as squats. Say, oh, that doesn't count. Okay, was I not deep enough? You know, that's what I'm assuming it means, but was my back rounding? Like, be more specific when you critique. Sure, it's somewhat beneficial, but the form is so bad. That's, okay, now, yeah, again, with CrossFitting, right, CrossFit is going to be a lot of that high interval, or high intensity interval stuff. And there's a lot of value to that kind of training, but you're going to, basically, the problem with CrossFit is that you're not giving your body a ton of time to recover, and because you're not giving your body a whole lot of time to recover, very naturally you're going to slip into bad form just because you're just trying to survive, right? You're just trying to keep for time, keep getting the reps in. even if you're not physically capable of doing that. You're more liable to cheat because you're so tired. Okay, let's try this a second time. Hey, all right. Seems like it's working now. That's awesome. Perfect. Okay, so now what I can do is put the phone here. Yes, awesome. So this time I can actually check and see if I'm going parallel. Again, I wouldn't normally go to this level of being like this anal about it, but because this is max day, I want it done right. All right, I'm gonna wait. I want to see how that looks. Go down. That was parallel. That was parallel right there. That's probably actually slightly below, but that's good. So basically, my hands almost have to hit the side railings. All right, they didn't that time. I want to see if I can go deep enough. One more. See how that looked. Okay, I would say those all looked parallel or even slightly below. That's good. That's what we want. Felt pretty clean. Comp depth is below usually the powerlifting standard, right? But the question is, right, how far below? Really, for me, right, to me, parallel, I think what my definition of parallel is most people's definition of slightly below parallel. My definition is crease of the hips is at the par, the top of the kneecaps. Now, because you've got quadriceps muscles, because they're bulging, they're full of blood, and, they're doing a large part of the lifting, it may look like, the crease of the hips should be a little bit below the peak of the quad bulge, something like that. Are you going to get a gym membership for your trek to Hawaii? So that's actually something I wanted to talk about. It depends on your limb height. That is true. John, you've got a very good point there. And let me go ahead and give you a shout out because I love John's content. You guys want to see what a really strong man looks like? Go check out John. Hiding in the box. We'll give John a shout out here. Hey, Lesbian, good to see you. So we're doing maxes today. So this is actually something I wanted to talk about. It's related to Big Game Mikey's commentary here. As you guys know, I've been, in conversations with potential new employer, one at Washington State and one in Hawaii. And I actually was down in Charleston for a physical yesterday as part of the hiring process. And apparently it's really the last step of the pre-employment stuff that needs to happen. So what that means is I'm probably expecting a final offer to come in within the next few weeks. As such, my original plan today was to hit singles, and then a deload week, and then first week of March hit maxes. But because it may well be that I'm shipping out a bit earlier than expected, I'd rather hit max week now than deload and start working on a cut. Because, I peaked I weighed in this morning at 232 and change, but I hit 236 at some point in the middle of this week. So as far as I'm concerned, I've hit my target bulk weight. I'm good with that. And I don't really like the way I look right now, so I want to start leaning back down. So that's sort of where we're at there. Okay, so we'll do another set. This is just going to be 1 or 2 reps. Again, this is really just making sure the mechanics are good, making sure the form is good, all that jazz. And the reason I'm doing this now is because, obviously, right, when I'm going for max, I'm going to be playing music. I'm not going to be looking at my own form on a video in front of me. Even if I was, I'm not going to be focusing on any one set object. It's going to be all, I'm going to be kind of in the zone, you know? This is 305, and I'm going to look at this one for form. I'm only going to do like 1 or 2 reps just to warm up. Continue. I think I'm going to do, there we go. I think I'm going to do 305, 355, and then we'll start really hitting the max stuff. And again, if this seems like a lot of extra warming up, a lot of extra work, again, I really want to make sure the form is right and everything's warm before I go and do something like this, you know? Brain goes to 1,000-yard stare during the zone. Exactly, you get it, right? Which is why I'm relying on you guys to help me here, and I'm very grateful for your help. See how that looked? That was definitely below parallel. I like that. That's exactly what I want. See how rep 2 looked good. Rep 3 looked good. Yeah, no, that looked pretty textbook. I would say that's good form. I would say that's acceptable. So now that we've got that established, move on. We're going to do one more warm-up set at 355. Again, this is a lot of warm-up sets. I'm only going to do 1 rep really, but it's really just making sure everything's smooth, everything's looking good. Appreciate that, John. Morning, Kareem. Good to see you. Today we're hitting max, so I'm really just trying to take things slow, make sure I got everything working properly. So, what's the goal today? Right, what I'm going to do first is 425. And what I'm going to want y'all to do, or one of y'all to do, is attempt to clip my 425 rep and then send it to me on Discord so I can review it immediately after. Because, you know, again, when I'm in the zone, I'm not really going to be focusing on my form in the sense of like consciously looking at a screen. I'm going to be, you know, as John said, 1,000 yards staring at just trying to ram the weight up. It's the mire across the street. That sounds pretty good. Lifting that bench with one hand. You're probably not a regular bench, but dang. Yeah, it's pretty light. All right, appreciate that, John. You understand what I'm getting at here. Okay. We're gonna do 1 more rep. This is 355, and then we're gonna get the big kahuna going. Part of me wants to take 425 off the rack, do like a calf set with it beforehand. Not even so that like, you know, I really just so that I get a feel for the weight before I put it on. I may do that. We'll see. First, I'm going to do one more set of 355. Really lock in, make sure the form's correct. This is basically just a practice round. Strong leg pull. Let's go. All right. Ass down, back tight, abs tight, head up. See how it looks. That looked parallel to me. That felt good. I felt like I knew what I was doing there. All right, time for the big kahuna then. 425 pounds. So, yeah, I think what I'm going to do here is just do a light set of, just do a set of calves, with just a couple of reps to feel the weight on my shoulders, get used to it. So that way I'm not surprised or anything like that when I start. Postal job for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Good for you, bro. All right, I need to use the bathroom real quick here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch off the video feed here. We're gonna move to calves. Just feel it. All right, cool. I know we haven't actually done any working weight sets. We're 30 minutes into the stream. I get that. I understand. I know this is slow and boring and annoying, but like, I got to do it properly. Let's make sure. 125, 215, 305, 355, 405, 425. Why are my headphones so quiet? There we go. All right. All right, yeah, it's heavy, but it's not too bad. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be very heavy. All right. The final countdown. I was going to be, I already had a plan. I already had a song planned for this, but I'll go ahead and play that. That is not the song I will be using when I'm under there. I'm picking that on my own. But here you go. Hang on. Get some air. There you go. So yeah, today is going to be, oh, was it hard for you there, Hot Sauce? So Mikey, this is what I was talking about. So this is why I've moved my stream, or my max week up to this week, because I'm looking to move out there faster. Will I buy a gym membership out there? Probably not. The reason being that my employer has an, right, as a nuclear engineer in Hawaii, you can figure out who my employer would be. It'd be the Navy, because that's the only nuclear thing out there, kind of by default, really. So the base is going to have a gym, and that'll probably be what I use. There's no stopping now. This either goes up or it stays down. It separates the men from the boys. So, it's no more workout streams. Yeah, well, okay, no, don't, you're jumping to a conclusion there. I may try some alternative workout streams. I may still take my power blocks out there with me. If I do that, you know, that may allow me to do some alternative workouts. We're gonna see. I don't quite have the plan laid out for that yet. Galaris, welcome on in. Yeah, it's been a hot minute. God, I'm feeling nauseous as hell. I'm just nervous. This is a PR right here. If I can knock this, if I can get down and get up, and you guys, again, are really playing it by ear. Well, again, I don't know what my situation is going to be out there. I think I have an idea, right? So I may have an apartment with a gym, or I may have enough space to do workouts in my apartment, but, or, you know, if I share a house or whatnot, but I don't know all the details yet. So I would say, we'll see. I will still stream. I will find a way to stream, because I love talking with you guys. But all the details are going to be on the Discord. So this is 425 pounds. My goal here, right, is to hit parallel. I've got to hit parallel here. If I don't hit parallel, it doesn't count. And if I don't hit parallel, I need y'all to tell me. What we'll do is abandon any heavier weight, and we'll come back and do this. We'll make a second attempt at this, you know, after. I really don't want to have to abandon this. This is, like, right, so my previous PR was 410. If after a bulk where I have put on a lot of weight, I'm not even 15 pounds up on my max squat, I consider that something of a failure. I consider that something of a disappointment. Louis XO, good to see you. So what I'm going to do now is prep myself mentally to hit this. This is not going to be easy. Again, all that's going to matter is depth. Keep a razor sharp focus on my hips to my knees. I need the crease of the hips at the top of my kneecaps, or it doesn't count, okay? This is one where the form really, really does matter. But I need to prep now, so. Y'all have to excuse me if I'm a little bit less talkative. Intelligence, thanks for the first time chat. We're about to try a max, so cheers. I know what song I'm going to use too. It's going to be Welcome to the Jungle. God, guys, I'm nervous as hell. All right, final countdown's over. I guess that really was the final countdown. God, I can see the bar bending on the rack. Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah! Have a look! Have a look! Come on, give me a clip! Oh, we're lightheaded. How deep? Come on. Let me know. I'm fucking seeing stars right now. Was that crease of the hips, top kneecap? Somebody clip it, send it to me on Discord. I have to know. Galaris, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure it counts. See, that's useful feedback. I've got to see it. Only I know whether or not it's going to count. Martin Bulgarina, I am. I'm on it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Brock Sampson was just listening to Robert Greene. Awesome. Okay, send it to me over Discord, okay? Mikey. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right, you guys both sent it to me. Perfect. Okay, it felt like it came up pretty easy, but I just don't know how deep I went. Mikey, your clip didn't have it. It had everything after. All right, let's see if John got it for me. Okay, here we go. John got it for me. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's parallel. That looks parallel to me. I'm looking. Let's see here. So here we go. Here's what we got. Right? That to me looks like crease of the hips at the top of the kneecaps. I would call that parallel, or as near as makes no difference, parallel. So, okay. That looked pretty solid, actually. It definitely, I feel like, you know, maybe I could have gone just a hair deeper, but it felt good. And the truth is, I think I have a little bit more in me. Do I have 440 in me is the question. I would say that 425 looked solid. It definitely felt good. I'm gonna write that down. So 425. I'm gonna give myself a couple minutes. And yeah, so are we getting like a full high volume workout that we normally do? No, that's not what today is. It's max week. Do I want to try 440? 440 was the original goal. Part of me's nervous about doing that, but let's give it a shot. We'll do some calves with this so I can feel the weight out. I think Welcome to the Jungle is the right pick for this. This is going to be 440. So we're just hit calves on this, get a feel for it, see how it feels under the bar, all that jazz. I don't know about that. That felt very heavy. What do y'all think? Y'all think I should try that? You already got a PR. Jumping from 425 to 440 is a lot, especially when, right, you know, I was at parallel, but I was just at parallel. I wasn't any deeper. It's just 15 more pounds. It's not a ton of weight. PR, ER, that's the spirit. Now, I think I'm gonna psych myself up, try 440. If I fail, I fail, right? Am I gonna die underneath that bar? No. I was definitely seeing stars at the end of 425, but it felt like it came up fairly easy. The challenge is just it's just getting depth is so difficult. Like feeling adequate depth in that moment is so freaking hard. But I've got, you know, sort of the tingles. I feel like I've got enough. I had that yesterday. I went for 2 on my top set and failed due to the mental aspect. Reloaded and got another pretty okay single. Feeling doesn't mean the end sometimes. And the 425 looked good, right? It looked, okay, if not good, passable. It sure looked like I hit parallel, or as near as makes no difference. I would call that parallel, you know, I'm sure there's someone out there who's gonna be like, actually, I took a protractor and you were at 89.493 degrees, sir. Whatever, you know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a few minutes. I'm gonna take a few minutes. It's a lot of load on your central nervous system. Okay. Gets protractor. But you know what I mean, right? Right. There is, you know, checking to make sure your form isn't bad, and there's being a form Nazi, right? There are, you know, first off, if you're one of these people that says the only squat that counts is ass to grass, my question for you is why? Body physiology is going to inherently disadvantage some people and inherently advantage others if you apply that standard. For me, I think parallel is just fine. It's going down in Georgia's a circus. I hope the judge does not take the bait. I haven't been paying attention. Around here, we're getting ramped up for, let's be honest, the only primary that really matters. Yeah, South Carolina made the Democratic primary here first, but that's completely useless in a state that's like 60% red. Z-form will be under, it doesn't count, yes. Again, it's not to say there's no value in an ass to grass squat. Wanting to maintain a simple level of biomechanics. Right. Again, there's benefit to some ass to grass, but I've found if I rep on ass to grass, first off, I'm not a fan of doing heavy stuff ass to grass because I found two things that occur. The first is I feel a lot of like joint pain in my knees, and you could say, well, that's a skill issue, that's mobility, but like I've done ankle mobility exercises before. I still feel pain in my knees on ass to grass. The second is butt wink. Most people who do ass to grass will be more prone to butt wink. Now that doesn't mean you can't correct for it, but that doesn't, it's also not something as a, you know, this is my hobby. I am never ever going to be training for the US Olympic team. I'm never going to be a professional athlete, right? Depends on your optimization of bodily mechanics as well, physics. Butt wink. Wink is in like winky face, you know? So a butt wink is, if you go ass to grass, right? You come down and your butt starts to round, right? Like you're straight, and then your butt rounds. That's a butt wink. And it's a lot of people will also, on ass to grass, be prone to sort of bounce off their calves. That's also kind of unsafe. To me, I just don't see the value in going that deep for a 1 rep max. Frankly, I don't really see value in doing that for any less than sets of 8 to 10. And even then, be very careful, right? If your knees or lower back starts really screaming at you from ass to grass squats, you know, cut it out, or go further down weight. There's benefit to ass to grass in terms of training depth and understanding what the weight feels like that deep in the hole or even beyond the hole, but you don't want to hurt yourself. Fucking bastard heavyweights, yeah. This is 440. We're gonna see how it goes. All right, I'm gonna psych myself up. We're gonna do this. Do or die. If if I fail, right? You guys see how I'm not far enough back to where I could damage myself and miss the supporters. The supporters are at a level at which, you know, if I go fully like below the hole, several inches below parallel, right, the weight will land on the spotters and I can exit at the bottom. I don't want to do that, obviously. The goal is to ram this fucking weight back up, but safety first, right? If you don't have spotters, like spotters you can trust to put a fair amount of weight on, don't fucking max squat. You know, have common sense, I guess is what I'm talking about. All right. I'm gonna sign myself up again. We're gonna do this. All right, 125, 215, 305, 355, 405, 425, 435, 440. Okay, my arm hit the fucking rack. That has to have been deep enough. Oh my God. It's gonna bring you down. Oh my God. I'm like shaking. Oh my God. Did someone did the clip thing? Oh, my head. Okay, we're not doing another one of those. Thank you. Fuck me. Wow, that was intense. Holy shit. Oh. There we go. I had something sitting right there. Yeah, that was 440. That was 440. All right, let's see here. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. That's fucking parallel. Let's go. Let's go. Oh. All right, we're done with that. I'm very happy with that. Oh, yeah, I'm actually kind of nauseous at this point. I think that's a, I think that's a pretty good sign that we're done. But I'm counting that. That looks like 440 to me. That looked parallel. I'm calling that good. I do actually feel like I could probably go heavier. I'm not gonna do that today. That's asking after two damn near 100% sets, sort of, 10 on the RPE scale. I think anything beyond what we've just done here is a very foolish endeavor. We're not going to do that. Question is now, what do I want to do? The rest of the workout's gravy, right? This is max day. We can just kind of have fun now. I think I'm going to do a couple 5 to 8 rep sets, just to give myself a little bit of volume, so it felt like I did something other than just test my max today. And we'll go from there. So I think what we're going to do is, let's see, this would be 355, 405. Let's do 375 and hit that for a few reps. I think 375 is probably about right. Oh my god, I did it. Let's go. Guys, I'm fucking stoked on that. 440 pounds. Thank you, everyone, by the way. Hey, thank you for lurking. 225 for 85. Jesus Christ. No. Actually, I may hit a really nice back off set of, between 12 and 20 reps. I'm not going to do that kind of weight, though. Let's see how 375 feels. I think I'll probably do this for between 5 and 8 reps. 6 kind of feels about right. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to go back and look, see what I did for 6 reps the last time I was doing this a couple weeks ago. I'm still shaking. The amount of adrenaline rushing through my system right now is hard to explain. I feel like I'm a fucking drug addict at this point. Some wild shit. Some wild fucking shit. Okay. So I 5 rep that. Let's go 355. Now I'm thinking about it. Probably best to, after loading my central nervous system like that, probably best to take it a little bit safer. Let's go for 355 and hit 6 with that. Thank you guys so much. What a great day though. 440 pounds, y'all. We did it. That was what I was hoping to do today. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and hit Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue because, well, I mean, come on. Dude, last night, key witness, the Hunter Biden agrees busted for perjury. His FBI informant lied to his bosses. So the most recent report, I'm gonna talk about this because the Republican primary is coming up here. And frankly, in this state, that's really the only one that matters because the Democratic Party is completely spineless and is unwilling to, even FDR style, replace the VP to make Biden look like a better candidate. Right? If you're going to assume your competitor is Donald Trump, right? Right now, most polls say that insert generic Democrat here does beat Trump in a race. Biden doesn't, and Kamala doesn't by an even bigger margin. So what is Kamala bringing to the table to justify keeping her on the ticket? And my answer to that is I don't know. What dirt does she have on the rest of the DNC to ensure continuing to keep that position? Big Red, can I do 450? Maybe. We're not finding out. No. That's just asking for trouble, right? After doing 2 pretty good 1-rep max sets, I'm not going to tempt fate. I still have to max press tomorrow, deadlift Tuesday, and then bench press Wednesday. So I don't want to injure myself now and jeopardize the other 3 maxes I need to do. I'm very happy with 440. Let's go ahead and get a little Motley Crue going. And we'll hit this for 6. Hopefully. Alright, yeah, my central nervous system's kind of, I'm getting that real lightheaded feeling. We're going to go down to 335 for the next set. We'll stick with 6s, but that's getting dizzy. Fuck yes. I'm really happy with that. Oh, I should have done calves with this. Whatever. What I will do though is bring these plates in so I can do some calves with a raised platform. What I should have done with the 400 odd weight, but to be honest, hitting that weight with calves was less about working my calves and more about getting used to the weight on my body, that level of compression. Through my veins and I say we're still kicking ass. Today we did all of this to rock. Whoa, yeah, kickstart my hope the adrenaline starts. Whoa, yeah, baby. One more, come on. Woo! Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm doing 450. Anyway, with regards to the primaries, because in the South, or here in South Carolina, we have a native daughter of the town of Bamberg. There are quite a lot of people. Standard Monk, thank you for the first time chat. I think it's !PR, but I'll tell you, we just shattered our squat PR. We hit 440 today. This is 335. My central nervous system's pretty shot at this point. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. Dang it, that should be appearing. Well, I don't know why it isn't. Standard. So we're at the peak of a bulk right now. My previous PRs are 205 for the press. We're probably gonna top that tomorrow. It was 410 on squat, but this morning we hit 425 and then 440. So 440 is the new PR. Deadlift current PR is 455. That's gonna get broken. I 2-repped 450 on Tuesday, so I'm guessing bare minimum 475 there. And then bench press, all-time PR is a very grindy 355, a much cleaner 345. My goal is 360 on that one. So if I do this properly though, 440 on squat, 500 on deads, 360 on bench, I've got a BSD of 1300, which is very good. Most people never get that far. Then again, most people didn't get to 1200 either. So before this bulk cycle, my previous PRs were 410, 355, and 455. But I think we're above that at this point. God, I'm just 1,000-pound club is a dream for most people. Yeah. Well, if I do things properly, if things go well, I will join the 1,300-pound club. Hey, Cecilia Rose is welcome on in. Welcome. Thank you. Anyway, as far as the primaries are concerned, Nikki Haley is, you know, she was the old governor here in South Carolina. Frankly, I think she did a pretty good job, and I will probably be voting for her in the primaries. Not necessarily because I agree with her positions, but because, simply put, I believe neither Joe Biden nor Donald Trump are fit for the presidency. Joe Biden is too old and is, at this point, pretty much all but confirmed to be senile. And Donald Trump is as old in 2024 as Joe Biden was in 2020. So you can't sit here and tell me, oh, well, Joe Biden was too old in 2020, but then not say Trump is too old in 2024 now. Yeah, you can say, well, one has better mental acuity than the other, but one, Trump speaks in word sausages all the time too, and two, you can either apply a universal standard for age or you can't. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I'm not even gonna get into the indictments or any of that stuff. That's beside the point. My main reason for voting for Haley though is very simple. As a pragmatist and a centrist, while I don't like every position Haley holds, Haley is in her 50s and much less likely to die in office. I do believe if either Biden or Trump is reelected, neither will see 2028. So if you wish to, right, if it ends up being Biden v. Trump with no other serious candidates, I will probably vote on whoever the vice presidents are, because Biden is, again, really too old to be doing this job at this point. It's the world's most stressful and deadliest job. I mean, statistically, I think of all the presidents we've had, something like 16, 17% of them have died in office or been assassinated. But, right, you've got that as your projections, your percentages. But then on top of that, right, Biden, we already know the issues, but Trump has openly admitted his diet consists of McDonald's, Diet Coke, and KFC. At 77 years old with a diet like that, I mean, you're just asking for a heart attack. You're asking for trouble. So, you know, if you're looking, right, if it ends up being Biden v. Trump, my plea to you as a centrist is to look very, very closely at who the vice presidents are. Unfortunately, the Democrats seem to have head buried up in ass on this one because they've got far better options than Kamala Harris and refuse to use them. Brian Wilson's family was a conservatorship for the former Beach Boy. That's a sad tale right there. Musical genius. Hey, Surrender Mars, excuse me. I've been hitting 1 rep maxes for squat today, so not much is going on up here. Anyway, as far as the primary is concerned, that's sort of my strategy. Who I will vote for in the general election is still a question mark. It's going to depend on who the alternatives are, but in the primary, you can either, so they're open primaries here, so you don't have to register for a political party to choose which primary you're going to vote for. Biden winning South Carolina was a foregone conclusion. I believe the Republican primary will be a lot more competitive, so I'm using it, and I'm going to vote for Haley because, right, I want, in an ideal world, neither Biden nor Trump are running, but if we can knock one out, that's better than 0. You know, walking, talking Azareth pole. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about politics today. Today is a day of celebration. Today is a day of hitting a new PR. So I'm absolutely thrilled. Everything else we do in this workout is just gravy at this point. I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. 440 pounds after a 425 set. I think we were really just that parallel. The depth looked good enough for me to call it good. Understanding one, hey, good to see you. I'm hoping No Labels ends up, you know, if Haley doesn't win the GOP nomination, I'm hoping No Labels picks Haley and Dean Phillips, or Phillips and Haley. I don't really care what the order is, one or the other. And I will say, again, while I don't like Haley's policies in a lot of areas, I do know she did a good job as governor here, and she's a native of Bamberg. Okay, so Bamberg is, you know, about an hour or so from my house. It is a part of South Carolina that's kind of underlooked. It's in the Black Belt, which is the historically speaking, in the antebellum days, it was the days that were majority slave populations, is what it was. And that legacy of racism still exists in the sense that the poorest counties in South Carolina are Allendale, Barnwell, Orangeburg, and Bamberg counties, and Hampton counties, which is really disgusting, the fact that there is a county named after Wade Hampton III, arguably one of the biggest pieces of shit South Carolina has ever given the rest of the country. Look, and I love the South. I'm a proud Southerner, but Wade Hampton is no one to celebrate. The man was terrible. The point here is, because of that, I do believe Haley has a better understanding of what the chronically underserved parts of the country need relative to someone like Trump, who was born into an extremely wealthy family, or Biden, who doesn't know where he is. Trump is still president and commander-in-chief? No, he's not. Trump did not win the 2020 presidential election. And the more people love to talk about, you know, try to dispute the election, even though there's no proof, the less and less credible Trump's bid for 2024 is. If you are pro-Trump, and I live in Trump country, okay? Look, at the primary, the Democratic primary in my town, 16 people voted. 16, that's it. I live in MAGA country, and I have loads and loads of friends who are very pro-MAGA, and I have no problem with that. But you have to be practical. Campaigning on the 2020 election with very little evidence on your side is a good way to turn off people who you need to vote for you, right? If it comes down to Trump versus Biden, it's going to come down to the purple states, and the purple states generally don't give a fuck about what happened 4 years ago. Whether or not you want to claim yourself as morally right or whatever, it's not about that. It's about being practical. Biden doesn't control the military. Bigger than John C. The state of South Carolina has crapped out a lot of really pretty questionable characters over the years. Just go Google the caning of Charles Sumner in the 1850s. Yeah, people always like to say, oh, the Senate, you know, there was someone in the Senate complaining about, or someone was threatening to fight one of the Teamsters. It's like, we've got a history of this. We had physical canings in the 1850s at one point. And I love my state, and I'm no bleeding heart liberal, but yeah, these are people we don't want to be celebrating. Anyway, Biden is only a resident of bankrupt USA. The USA isn't bankrupt. Cover Junkie, what country are you from? Because if you're saying that, I don't think you're an American. And it's fine, man. I love it when other people from other countries take pot shots at us, because we are the Alabama Crimson Tide right now, right? We're on top. Nah, I don't think he's from Russia. If he's from Russia, he's smarter than most of them. And I got no problem with the Russians, too. I understand why they want Crimea. I understand why they want the Donbass. I think the way Putin went about the war was really foolish. I don't think he's done a very good job of managing the war. But I understand the goals behind it. All right, let's go ahead and get into the set here. Let's go ahead and go for Thrill of It All by Black Sabbath. I mean, look, Which state was the first state in the United States? Well, by chronological order of acceptance of the U.S. Constitution, that would be Delaware, though a lot of Pennsylvanians like to claim that they got delayed and Delaware hid. There's some conspiracy I've heard from a bunch of Pennsylvania residents, who's the second state in the country, that Delaware cheated over Pennsylvania to be the first state to sign the Constitution. I don't know how accurate that is, but I do know that Delaware is traditionally considered the first state. Politics is your entire verse. Nah, look, it's cool. It's cool. I accept people of all flavors, but if the conversation gets toxic, we'll talk about something else. I do have another set here, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's hit some good Black Sabbath. I don't think he's trolling. Dude, I know people who are, salt of the earth, real great people, but politically they are very conservative. There's nothing wrong with that. I live in that part of the country. Yeah, now I know about New Sweden. New Sweden used to be where I think modern day Wilmington is, just in the northern chunk of Delaware on the mouth of the Delaware River. That part, I think New Sweden was originally that chunk of Delaware, part of southeastern Pennsylvania, and that sort of Vineland area of New Jersey. And then it got taken over by the British, and then became, Delaware and New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Anyway. All right, I got a set. This is 335. I should have no problem with this. This is our last heavy set. We'll go down a little bit more after this. We're really just chilling at this point. This is all gravy. We hit our PR today. We're good. Delaware is the elite college, Joe Flacco. Look, again, mate, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm currently a resident of the state that started the Civil War. I know my history. You can't escape it here. Oh, I messed up the camera. There we go. There we go. But no, don't. Being willing to listen to other opinions is the most important thing, I think. You never know who you're going to learn something new from. There we go. There we go. That's it. Whoa. Calves. Whoa. All right. Let's go down. We'll do 275 as our back off set. Call that good. Yes. Yeah. Delaware these days does mostly exist for tax purposes. That and good old DuPont. I'd like to say crossbow. Hell yeah. Good for you. I'm also doing leg days, you can tell. I hit a new PR, bro. Hit 440. So I'm thrilled. You know what? Actually, I need to do a set of pullovers. I haven't done any so far today. I really should do that. We're gonna hit that. Yeah. Really? So I hit 425, and then I hit 440. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. So everything today beyond that is just kind of gravy. But I'm very excited to start moving back down weight, do a little more volume, start shedding fat. I'm thrilled with the way my strength has come, but this bulk cycle is rather appropriately reaching its end here. One more. Yeah, these days Delaware is more or less just one giant corporate tax haven. Yuha Tak, thank you very much for the follow. We are getting very close to 2,000 followers, and when we do, I will give those in the Discord a special reward for that. So, okay, in the United States, we had a proto-bank, central bank, in the United States in the 1820s and 1830s, but Andrew Jackson basically shut that down for a while. Understanding one, yes. So there is a reward for the Discord people. I posted it in the announcements, understanding one, so check the Discord for more on that. But yeah, I'd love to see, I think we're at like 1925 right now, so like 75 more followers and we'll get there. So thank you very much, Yuhatak, for the follow. SFU Fireworks replacing with Staley. Do not see his work with the Bolts. San Francisco, you know, sometimes the luck just doesn't go your way. Frankly, I think the NFL is scripted, so that's kind of why. Let's try to. Don't worry, the blood is not necessarily flowing to my brain right now all that well either. I can understand that. We'll move to 275. We'll hit this for our back off set. I'll probably do a set of 12 here, and I guarantee you do more than 12 on 275, but given how much you've already put the central nervous system through, and then you need to be fresh and ready for press tomorrow, I'm a little bit less keen on hitting it as heavy as I perhaps normally might. Also, I'm going to pee again. Stand by. Needed that. Okay. So we're going to nail 275 for our last set of squats. So we'll do calves at 275, probably a second set of pullovers. We'll do, I'm not doing pause squats today. We'll do some box squats though. We'll hit box squats at 275. That'll be good. That'll be worth doing. First try Jefferson, second try by Andrew Jackson shut the banksters. Yes. As Lincoln stopped them, got murdered. Well, I don't think the banksters were responsible for whacking Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth was a nutcase. There is a long history of anarchists and general nutcases trying to whack presidents. Again, just look at Hinckley, the guy who tried to, kill Ronald Reagan. It's because he had an infatuation with Jodie Foster. There are crazy people out there. It's just kind of how it is. Or the guy who tried to whack Gerald Ford in 1976. What kind of protein do I use? Titanic and Olympic had to sink in order for the Federal Reserve to emerge. It may have been a partial cause. There's some other reasons for that, and I'll go into that in just a moment. Protein, I just use generic Costco gold standard chocolate protein, whey protein. There is nothing magic or special about whey protein, by the way. The only reason I use it is that it's a very convenient way for you to hit your macros. It's actually more expensive than just, chicken. But you don't have to cook protein powder, you can just have it. Better still, you can mix it with milk, get your calcium in for the day. I'm on the whatever is cheapest when I need it protein. Yeah, so protein powder is the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive, and it is extremely convenient. Strauss died on Titanic just as coincidence. Look, regarding the Titanic, there were simple engineering failures and regulations that had not been thought of in that day for the minimum number of lifeboats and all that jazz for crew and for passengers. And a lot of the federal shipping standards got developed as a result from the Titanic. Never assume, a very good maxim is to never assume malice where incompetence can be the answer. And, in those days we just didn't have, we did not have the regulatory environment necessary to ensure shit was safe. I mean, there's a reason Upton Sinclair wrote The Jungle, and I'm not going to quote anything from that book because it's fucking disgusting, but it's a good read. Jekyll Island. I've been out to Jekyll Island down there in Georgia. It's very pretty. It's not too far from me, actually. Woodrow Wilson is, I would say, the worst president the United States had in the 20th century. Man was a jackass, a very, very virulent racist, and ultimately set the presidency back, or set the United States back. I mean, frankly, I cannot imagine being in 1912 and having the ultimate giga-chad of presidents to vote for, and either voting for a fatty or a racist, which was Taft and Wilson. You could have voted Theodore Roosevelt in for a third term, which is the most based thing possible, because Theodore Roosevelt is probably, in terms of personality and the way he carried his life, Theodore Roosevelt's probably my favorite president, because the man was born sickly, he got bullied as a kid, and he took out boxing to defend himself, and he was told he had a heart condition and should take a low-stress desk job by his doctor. He ignored the fuck out of that advice, said, bully, I'm gonna go charge San Juan Hill, I'm gonna go explore the Central American jungles. Like, absolute fucking giga-chad president. And then, yeah, of course, the national parks alone already puts him at the top, but one of the reasons the Federal Reserve came around, and the income tax also came around in the early 1910s, was one of the dumbest movements the United States has ever had, which is called prohibition. The banksters did the Wall Street crash in 1929. Nah, man, not everything is a conspiracy. The banksters didn't just automatically say, yes, we are going to crash the world economy today. That's not how that works. I think you might be believing in some conspiracies that aren't there. But regarding income tax, one of the biggest reasons income tax is stuck around is because before 1919, the United States got the majority of its federal revenue from tariffs, but more importantly than that, alcohol taxes. The United States government made loads of money, hand over fist, on taxes for alcohol. Because of Wayne Wheeler and really some pretty stupid, mostly women, that voted to ban alcohol, which was an unbelievably stupid idea on the face of it, what you're doing is you're banning the 5th largest industry in the United States in the 1910s, first in several states, and then at the federal level, you know, with the single dumbest amendment we've ever had, the 18th Amendment. What Prohibition did was severely damage the United States economy. Between that and the pandemic, the Spanish flu of 1919, the US economy experienced a severe contraction after World War I. It took a legitimate business industry and turned it over to the black market, which is why you got the rise of gangsters like Al Capone, right? And it forced the United States government to find alternative means to collect revenue, which it chose an income tax for. Now, if you give me the choice between paying income tax and paying alcohol tax, I will pick alcohol tax 100 times out of 100. And you all should too, because it's a voluntary tax. And if you really, really don't like paying taxes and want to go full libertarian, you know, return to monkey type mode, you can make your own moonshine. Then again, you can still do that today, but you get the point. Moonshine's not the worst thing to do. Teddy also had the balls to go after J.P. Morgan, Sanders, Chase, John Rockefeller, Carnegie. Exactly. Absolute. Theodore Roosevelt was a massive Giga Chad. He was, I think, the biggest Giga Chad president we have ever had. But imagine, again, being 1912, you can pick that guy, a guy so fat they had to make a custom White House bathtub for him, or the most racist president of the 20th century. And imagine not voting for Giga Chad. That's basically what the 1912 election was. All right. Let's go ahead and do 275. We're going to do, this is our back off set. We're going to go for probably 12 reps, and then we're going to do some box squats. Then maybe some lunges. That's going to be it today. It's going to be a little bit lower volume. It's max week. We've done the important thing already today. And bind Al Capone was to Swede London. Al Capone did nothing wrong, officially. Al Capone was base. The 19th, I'm saying, the 18th Amendment was the dumbest law the United States has ever passed. Not the most criminal, not the evilest, but the dumbest for sure. All right, let's go. Oh, it feels like it's pretty light now. That's it. It should be then one night stand. Yes. Nice. That felt pretty good. Well, Jamie's crying. Alright, We'll do some box squats next. Feels good in here, about 60 degrees. Surrender, I appreciate that, man. This is an 18+ channel, just don't say anything that gets me kicked off of Twitch, okay? You did miss it. 425 went down and then up, and then 440 went down and then up. Cover Junkie, he's been quoted as saying he'd try to act as dictator for a day. It's the exact opposite of a republic. Hydron, thank you very much for the redeem. Here we go. Oh, 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 Jamie's crying. Thank you very much, lab boys. Nah. Hey, Jay Guy, good to see you. Yeah. Everything else at this point, we're just box squatting with 275. Cover Junkie, first central bank was respected. I'm telling you, the power stayed in Sweden. I don't think so. Mate, I think you're looking for conspiracies that ain't there, but that's all good. I was gonna do pause squats today, but nah, I'm good. I'm good. That was a lot of stress on my central nervous system. We're gonna hit some box squats. That's gonna do it. Yeah, they did, and then the British did, and the Dutch, and the Irish, and the Germans, and the Italians, and everybody else. It's one of the more off-the-wall conspiracies I've ever heard, that the Swedes somehow control us. That being said, ABBA is the Surströmming of music, and the Swedes should be held accountable for that crime against audio humanity. So, the other thing we're going to do today, it is Friday, and the stock market is open, so we'll be doing Financial Fitness Fridays. All right. Let's go for 5150 by Van Halen. That's a great song. I swear to God, don't you do it, Mikey. Don't you fucking do it. I forgot you realized you like ABBA. Fucking sicko psychopath. There we go. There we go, finally I fixed it. I'm trying to get that to work properly, now it finally is. Alright. I'll bring you guys to an alternate angle in just a little bit, but we'll do one more set here. I didn't do anything, surrender. Jay Guy just likes saying that to welcome. But now I'm about to do something. Yo, let me give Lab Boys a shout out here, by the way. He's gonna be loading the new Puerto Rico vid soon. Should be pretty baller. I swear to God, if you make me listen to Dancing Queen. Look, that's the rules. You can play any song, but I'm gonna hate you if you do that. I understand. All right, let's go. Come on, little Van Halen. Try, win or lose, take the highs with the blues. All right, here we go. The bench is too far forward. I can't step out properly. Need to take it back just a touch. There we go. Can't get it out of the hooks without tilting the bench over. That's not ideal. That's better. Oh. one more, you're never satisfied. Whoa! Lost my balance. Shit. Come on. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I might do one more set on this. Creed is better than ABBA? Yes. I don't really like Creed, but anything is better than ABBA. Wallenberg. Dude, I'm not gonna look random shit up while I'm in the gym. I'm still trying to get a workout in. Cover Junkie, I'd be very interested to know what country you came from. I welcome people from everywhere, but these are some off-the-wall level conspiracies here. I feel like he's just shitposting. Like, this is... Pretty sure this is not passing the sniff test. Alright, let's do another pullover set. Jesus Christ. Oh! My legs. 1, 2... Always one more, you're never satisfied. Oh, you son of a bitch, you did it. Fuck you, Mikey. I can't read it, but I'm assuming I can see that someone redeemed something. I'm assuming that means you redeemed a song. You son of a bitch. Shouldn't have said anything. Brought this on myself. I think that was 20. There's not a lot of blood flowing in my head at this point. I am very dizzy. Actually, I don't know what song you chose yet, Mike. Still trying to catch my breath and read it, but I think the next song I'm gonna pick is Miracle Man by Ozzy Osbourne. Nickelback, How You Remind Me. It's better than ABBA, but like we're really, really splitting hairs. Did I watch the Carlson interview? No. Why the fuck would I do that? Tucker Carlson's a hack. Then again, most American journalists are hacks, but Tucker Carlson just happens to be a hack that likes Putin. Decided to be nice. Fair play. All right, well, how do you remind me of my Nickelback? Look, and as far as the war between Russia and Ukraine, I'm not 100% on Team Ukraine here, but when one of the sides is buying weapons and acting buddy-buddy with North Korea, that's really telling. Because North Korea is as close to hell on earth as it gets. North Korea and Eritrea. I mean, we're talking pretty much, you know, what if 1984 was a real country? Nickelback, How You Remind Me. You've got to be joking. Fucking Nickelback. I agree. I think that the hate on Nickelback is overrated. But that doesn't mean Nickelback is a band I like listening to. There we go. Here's your fucking Nickelback. I know Lab is a really big fan of the prison gates won't open up for me. I know, I'm actually really surprised Lab Boys has not redeemed that particular song. But no, I don't listen to a whole lot that Tucker Carlson has to say because the man is, again, born from an extremely wealthy family, has never really had to work a day in his life for anything that's his own. He's inherited wealth, and I don't take inherited wealth very seriously, no matter who it is. I'm also, for those of you who don't know, it's an important history lesson about how Viking Rurik from Sweden founded the Kievan Rus. Yeah, right, so the history, right, any historical claims about, okay, well, at this point, this is part of Russia, and the Cossacks in Ukraine, and all the rest of it. What I care about is what the people want, right? So democratically speaking, most of Ukraine does not want to be part of Russia. Crimea does, because Crimea is not majority ethnically Ukrainian. So I think the Russians have a much more legitimate claim to Crimea than they do the rest of Ukraine. The Donbass is about 50-50. Frankly, if I were Zelensky, I would sue for peace and punt Donetsk and Luhansk to Russia because rebuilding it will be not worth the energy, and the people in Donetsk and Luhansk will probably vote against the rest of Ukraine's better interests. Ukraine's best interests lie in getting into the EU as fast as possible because the EU has made Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, and a lot of those ex-Eastern Bloc countries' economies a lot stronger and has dramatically improved the average living standards of the people in those countries. I think a leader's duty is to consider what is in the best interests of their people, and for the majority of the Ukrainian people, you would be far better off punting the Donbass and Crimea and getting the fuck into EU as fast as possible. History is very important to understand the present. Yes, I understand that. Cover Junkie, you saw it, right? I live in South Carolina. This is the state that started the American Civil War. I do understand my history. There's history all around. Literally, one of the very few antebellum era slave plantations that did not get burned by the Civil War by Sherman's troops is intact about 10, 15 miles from my house. And you can see what the conditions really were like for the slaves there. There's records, there are books, and it really shows the eye-opening, gruesome truth of what antebellum slavery was like in the Deep South. It's very hard not to go to that and come away pretty profoundly affected by it. I don't think the EU is collapsing. I think that's bullshit. The EU, it is in the interest of almost every EU state to keep the EU alive. Even though it's not an ideal partnership, it's better than a bunch of independent microstates that can be picked off by the Chinese. Not to mention, like my proof of this is the United Kingdom has screwed itself over with Brexit. All it's done is made life harder on itself to be an independent power. You can either bargain collectively against the great powers of the world, Russia, China, the United States, Brazil, India, or you can bargain as separate countries and you're going to get picked off. Hollywood with communism. Hollywood with communism benefits. Swedish interests? Oh, for God's sake. Dude, how dyed-in-the-wool are you? Infiltrating anything with communism was that was the Russian interest back in the day. Yeah, the Soviets were planting all sorts of spies in the US in the 30s and the 40s. Look, man, do you know what I do for a living? I'm a nuclear engineer. We know the history of this because we are taught OPSEC, right? That's operational security, right? We are taught the ways that the Soviet spies operated, and in more recent years, the way that the Chinese and Korean spies operated. It wasn't the fucking Swedish interest to try and kickstart communism in the West. It was the Soviet interest. Swedes brought slave trade to... No, they didn't. Jesus Christ, dude. No, the original slave traders to the United States were Spain and Portugal in the 1500s. All right, I think... Let's see here. What the fuck is this? There we go. Let's go ahead and hit Okay, wait, what was the song? It's a fucking Nickelback song. Where'd that go? How You Remind Me. There we go. I don't know where that went. It stopped for some reason. I'm gonna play it. There's the finance Lennon made the bullshit. The interests that financed Lenin were not Swedish, they were German. It was to try and try and get Russia out of the First World War. The Germans were the ones who sent Lenin back to try and destabilize Russia. Yeah. All right, come on. Let's hit another set. Whoa, balance. The primary exporters of slaves to the New World were the Spanish and the Portuguese after the Treaty of Tordesillas in the late 1400s. There's a reason the last country in the Western Hemisphere to outlaw slavery was Brazil in 1885. It was the Portuguese heritage. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7. God, fucking Nickelback. 7. All right. I think we're good there. Fucking Nickelback. This is terrible. Yeah. Fucking hell. We're gonna just go 215. We'll do a set of front squat, and then we'll go from there. Understanding one. I have no idea. I think Cover Junkie's either shit posting or he's on some sort of drug. Let's move the conversation on. I don't think the rest of chat has any interest in this. Let's talk about lifting. That's what we're actually doing here. What we're gonna do next. Okay, thank God that's fucking over. You remind me. God. No, it's still going. Come on. Nickelback. Stop this torture. We're hit front squats at 215. We'll just do 2 sets. I'll probably do some lunges and that'll be enough. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, front squat. So, right, why would one do a front squat? The front squat is an extended range motion where, because you're placing the weight in front of your face rather than behind your face, the center of gravity is tilted forward, which means it's going to put more stress on your quads as you go down. So you'll be hitting your quads really good with this. I'm going to try it with 215 for maybe 5 reps. If I can do more, great. If not, I'm going to go down weight. Okay, thank fuck that song is over. Now I can actually put something serious on. Let's go to the dawn of progressive rock. One of my favorite songs, 21st Century Schizoid Man by King Crimson. Let's go, 21st Century Schizoid Man. Nice. Upper back will be sore. To an extent. Okay, so one other thing with front squat. A lot of people say the only way to front squat grip is like this. I found that hurts my forearms and wrists. I like to rest it on my front delts with a cross grip. And in doing this, I also feel like my upper back isn't quite as quite as stressed as it would be with this grip. I don't find that it hurts my upper back too bad, actually. In fact, if anything, I feel like I keep my back more upright, but please watch my form on this. If I'm not going deep enough, say so. You know, I want to be hitting parallel, all that jazz. All right, sit this. You know, we'll say one other thing. Now I'm going to do this set and then I'll say it. Pretty good. Let's stick with sixes on that. That felt solid. How's the form looking on that? Felt like I was going deep enough. How'd the form look? Oh. 5-star, I appreciate that, thank you. By the way, this is the last thing I'll say about the whole international scale of things. Because, right, so my father served United States Air Force for almost 30 years, and as such, you know, I was born in a military family. I'm a very patriotic American. But there is this idea out there that states being a patriotic American means you have to automatically be opposed to X country. I think there are good non-military ways to solve these issues. Frankly, what we did as a country in 1991 and 1992 was miss an opportunity, right? We rebuilt Western Europe after 6 years of war and about 15 years of fascism, right? We rebuilt Western Europe after that. Eastern Europe dealt with something far worse. 6 years of war, 15 years of fascism coming in, and then even worse than that, 50 years of totalitarian communism. Any region that has dealt with a force that horrendous is going to need help to transition to a modern, developed, democratic, capitalist economy. And I think what we should have been doing in the early 1990s was developing a second Marshall Plan for Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, the former Yugoslav nations, Slovakia, Czech Republic, the Baltics, and yes, Russia and Ukraine. I think if we had done that, we would have been better off. I think relations between us and the Russians would have become a lot better. The other one is that Russia, in my opinion, has really only had 1 or 2 truly democratic elections, and I think they voted for the wrong candidate in 1991. They voted for Boris Yeltsin, and that was a bad decision. I think had Gorbachev remained in power, you would have seen a transition to a developed capitalist or mixed economy similar to Estonia instead of the extremely difficult decade that the Russians had in the 1990s. People don't quite understand why a lot of Russians love Putin. The biggest reason is that in the 1990s, Russia experienced an economic decline equivalent to 3 times the depths of the Great Depression the United States felt in the 1930s. And Putin, for better or for worse, got them out of that depression. Any leader who is able to do that is going to get a lot of public support. Now, that was what Putin was doing in the early 2000s. Ever since, he's sacrificed what would have been a very strong developing economy for relatively minuscule territorial gains, which is stupid on his part. And people like to talk about Putin like he's this genius. I think he's not a very good leader. I think Putin is making Russia weaker. All wars are banksters' wars. General Patton said we fought the wrong enemy. No, the Nazis needed to get killed. Whether or not we should have charged on to Moscow in 1945 is another question, but I understand why we didn't. We definitely had to kick out the Japanese as well, so I don't know. That's right. People like Roosevelt, Truman, Patton were in such a high-stress situation in those days, making the decisions they did. I can't, as some layman engineer who has benefited immensely from the decisions they did make, criticize them too harshly for the choices they made under duress. That would be rather hypocritical. But that's the last thing I'm going to say about it. Basically, this overriding Cold War era narrative that Russia and the United States have to be mortal enemies is dumb and should be scrapped. That said, my current job is definitely of greater importance due to the fact that that does happen to be the case. All right, let's hit another set. All right, here we go. Last set of front squats. We're only going to do 2 today. I'm pretty shot. Central nervous system's pretty shot, and I got to press PR tomorrow, so this will be it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on. Alright, that felt pretty good. We're going to hit some lunges, and then that's going to be it for today. We're going to lightweight, almost as a, we'll do 185 or 135. We're going to make this a cool down. The hard work's done for today. I think we need to take it a little easier. Yes, the Nazis really lost. Are you kidding me? West Germany and then the Federal Republic of Germany has become a developed, democratically run organization, country with high human development ratings and tolerance towards people in a way that they were not in the 1930s. Yes, we did defeat the Nazis. And it was done with British know-how, with Russian blood, and with American production. And any one country that states, oh yeah, we won the Second World War single-handedly, is ridiculous. The British provided, and the Poles for this matter, provided the code crackers for Enigma, right? Without the Russians and their sacrifices at the battles of Leningrad, Stalingrad on the Eastern Front, the Germans would have overwhelmed anything in the West. And Soviet General Zhukov admitted that without American food, jeeps, tanks, airplanes, and Lend-Lease aid, the Soviet Union would have collapsed in 1942. It was a team effort. We got some of our own now in the US. Oh, come on. You're talking about Operation Paperclip? I've actually worked at NASA. Yes, there were German scientists we recruited. But remember, if you were a scientist in 1930s Germany, it was either join the party or get killed or flee. Some did. Look at Einstein. But, you know, there were a lot of scientists in the Third Reich that also got picked up by the Soviets for the exact same reason. Both sides of the Cold War did that. Not something to be proud of, but it is historical fact. It wasn't just the Americans that did that. Both sides did. All right. let's hit, I'm gonna hit 2 sets of lunges here. Then we're gonna be done. For this, I actually am gonna take off my shoes because these are cheap Chinese knockoff Chuck Taylors, and I don't think they have the structural integrity to handle lunges. I think they're good for squats, right? Because that's just a vertical load, a compressive load being placed on them. But, right, you have to stretch at the foot for lunges, and I don't think that's wise to put these shoes through. So we're gonna do another set. Let's go. Here we go. 185. This floor, this is awful. It's all dusty. Whoa, balance, balance, one more. All right, we're good. Let's go down weight. Where I can tell it's a central nervous system issue is that my balance is off. The strength is there to do more reps and even to do heavier weight, but the left-right balance is shot. Hey, very nice, Jay guy. Dulles brothers, yes. Dulles, John Foster Dulles was the man, the airport in Washington, D.C. is named after, and yes, ran the CIA. The Bay of Pigs invasion was, frankly, stupidity on our part to try and throw a coup in Cuba. Kennedy assassination and Watergate are 2 entirely separate issues. Who shot JFK? Lee Harvey Oswald. Why did Lee Harvey Oswald shoot JFK? We don't know, and we probably never will. Anyone who says they have completely figured out the JFK assassination is lying. It's information that probably will never be released. Say Levy. I don't really think about that too much. This is annoying the fuck out of me, so we're just gonna do a quick little bit of housekeeping. There we go. Just gotta get this part a little bit swept up. We're gonna do one more set. This is just 125. Really, it's a cool down set. Lifting heavier weights and taking longer breaks, taking creatine again. Very nice, man. Yeah, congratulations. Good for you on the gym membership. You know what, actually, we're gonna do next is I'm gonna move you guys back over to the main view here. So, excuse me for uno momento while I do just that. There we go. Nice. There we go. Oh, shoot. Plug you in over here. Like that. Nice. Okay. And plug you in right here. Perfect. Okay. Nice, 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 nice. And we'll set the mic up like that for now. So we're gonna hit one more set of legs here, and then we'll do some abs, and we'll talk financial fitness, because it is Friday, the stock market is open, and well, I love talking about it, you guys know. It's a hobby of mine, so we'll have a good time with it. It's nice to get out of the house. Honestly, it is. That's something I've kind of gotten the best of both worlds here, because there's a couple workouts. My Tuesday and Wednesday workouts I do at the site. Amazing shorts. I appreciate that. Just don't flag me. Like, I'm just wearing whatever shorts I happen to have, right? My content here is about staying comfortable. One of the things I do with leg day is that I am extremely I'm extremely warm right now. Like, I'm putting out a lot of heat. I can just feel it. I'm basically, it's like maybe 60 degrees. Dude, people have, it's the dumbest shit. Like, I keep the 18 plus label on here, not because I'm trying to be like a fucking thirst trap, but because I want to speak freely. And down here where there's no air conditioning most of the year, it's going to be very hot. And I'd rather, be comfortable and able to sweat as much as, get as much of the heat off me as I can. Noir, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Okay, we're gonna have one more set, and then that'll be it for today. That's really dumb. But it's an 18 plus channel. Mostly, again, not even really because we're talking, we're doing anything that explicit. I'm not one of these, I always use Amaranth as the poster child for this, but these thirst trap kind of streamers on Twitch where they're basically all but naked and sitting in a hot tub or a bathtub and more or less stripping. I mean, very much, pretty much at OnlyFans. Like, what I'm doing in here is I am trying to build muscle. And frankly, I don't even look that good right now. Like, look at this, I'm all chubby. But, that's peak bulk for you. I'm gonna be, for the next couple of weeks. But good news is, once I'm done this week at max, I will do probably a week at maintenance and then start to go into cutting. Dude, there are streams I have seen, and I've posted about this, which is, there's like one that's the title is, "You can see all my holes." And it's like, how is this getting by Twitch? And the answer is, oh, the view count is massive, so Twitch makes lots of money from ads off of this person. Whereas for, some schmo like me, it doesn't matter. I'm a small fry. Also, I know Twitch really does not like the health and fitness streamer community. They reliably deny all but the biggest of applicants partner status. And the reason for that is very simple. It's because you can't market that. Amazon can't make nearly as much money off of partner streams that are health and fitness oriented relative to, say, gaming streams. We've got 2 more months at maintenance. This is the last bulk week. I'll do maintenance for 1, maybe 2 weeks, probably just 1, and then I'm gonna dive into the cut. I'm fucking ready to start shedding this body fat. All right, we're gonna hit our last set on lunges, and then we're gonna hit some abs. Acro should be partner. Acro got partner, and then something happened, and he had to recreate his account. My guess is some douchebag flagged him, Twitch auto, used it as an excuse to ban him. It's dumb. I'm at 18% right now, and I'm at peak bulk. That's what I weighed in. Actually, this morning I weighed in at 232 and 18.0%. So yeah, I'm really, this is very much the bulkiest I want to look. I mean, you can see some like rib cage and abdominal definition. If I flex, you can see a little bit of it, but this is obviously not a 6-pack. All right. We're gonna do this for reps, just kind of nail it. This will be our last set of the day. Here we go. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. That might have been 10. 10. 11. 12. Come on. 13. 14. 14. 15. 16. 17. Come on. Come on. 18. 19. One more. Fuck! 20. That's okay. Y'all can clip it from the VOD. You don't have to clip it this second. Just do it a couple hours after I post, or after the stream ends, you can go and watch the VOD. Clip it there. We'll do some abs, talk about stocks, and that'll be it for today. 440 pounds. What up? I believe that is very, very close to 200 kilos. It's like 195 or something like that. There's some jackknives. He's not denazifying Ukraine. He's invading Ukraine for land. This is not a special military operation. It's a war. Let's not bullshit each other here. Be honest. Four. 50. 1 set of abs. Apologies, that was not my butt, that was the chair. Just planting some seeds. It sounds like, man, are you from Russia? Be honest. I like it when people from Russia come in here, as I like talking to them. One of probably my favorite professional athlete is the greatest hockey player to ever play, and his name is Alexander Mikhailovich Ovechkin. This is where this guy's from the Troll Factory. He believes in some wacky-ass conspiracies, that's for sure. But he's pleasant enough. He can stay here, and he's talking about fitness too, so I don't mind it. I agree understanding when the Swedish obsession is very strange. History is important. There's a difference between history and bullshit, my friend. Some of what you're spouting is bullshit. Small but sharp country. Aye. I mean, frankly, what's wild to me is all this talk about the Swedes, where historically, if your history is accurate, you'd be much... I don't bull, yeah. That's exactly what you did there. If I were the Russians, I'd be a lot more scared about the Finns. The Winter War, ultimately Russia did end up, overcoming through sheer numbers, but Finland put the fucking beat stick on Russia for the first few years. It was bad. In the Winter War, originally, Soviets got their ass kicked. Ultimately, it doesn't matter too much for me, given my current source of employ. The Winter War was Swedes disguised as Russians. Okay, you're officially getting into crackpot territory. That's not history, that's just bullshit. The Winter War was Finland versus Russia. Lord above. Look, man. Oh God. Every Russian loss is always a false flag operation. Mate, you might want to stop watching. I think you might be watching a little bit too much Russian state media. Wasn't a false flag operation. That's just silly. Ooh, damn. All right, so we'll talk about the stock market after this. I'm gonna do one more set, but my Coinbase stock is absolutely fucking printing. I sold a call on it for 170. Well, that fucker's in the money now, so that one blew up my call, which sucks, but at the same time, it means I'm gonna sell it for a massive profit, which is, hell yeah, that's a big ass win. Let's go. I'm gonna rock a couple raised leg sit-ups. Yo, Re-Automotive. Hey, remember when I was talking about Re-Automotive when it was $5 a share? Right now it's up to $7.84 and it's continuing to rise. I told y'all. I know what I'm doing. I'll be financially independent before I turn 30. I'll be able to retire before I turn 30. There's a reason I do what I do. Oh, come on. Just trying to keep the knees straight right now with my hamstrings is fucking impossible. Okay, I gotta rest. Fuck. It's hurting my abs, but it's really just tight on the hamstrings. It was just annoying because that takes away from the purpose of this, which is abs. Okay, come on. Up, 1, up, 2. Come on, legs straight. Or at least as straight as we can. Oh. That'll be worthless when fiat dollar currency collapses. Big pyramid Ponzi scheme. Oh boy, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Comrade, you talk about the petrodollar. You do realize the #1 producer of oil and gas in the world by a country mile? Oh, the Russians and the Saudis don't like this one. All we would have to do is consume 10% less oil. We would take the Russians and the Saudis and put them right here under our boots. The only reason America does not export a lot of oil is because we consume almost everything we produce. The United States produces more oil than the Russians or the Saudis. Not to mention, in terms of technological output, in terms of engineering design technology, in terms of manufacturing, the United States has probably the most robust economy in the world right now. China is experiencing major demographics problems. Russia is transitioning to a wartime economy, which means most of their GDP is going to get destroyed in the heat of war. We're doing pretty great. Japan has slipped into an unexpected recession, and the Germans are cucking themselves because they don't want to build nuclear energy. We're going to win. Why do we have oil? Why not nuclear-free energy? Well, that one's ignorance. So, Cover Junkie, I am actually a nuclear engineer. You can see this because day job. You can use the emote day job to see what I do for a living. So I actually work in the US nuclear industry. I can explain this. The biggest issue is regulatory. In the United States, we have the gold standard for safety. Even the Chinese use corrupt, more or less. Okay, so the newest Chinese nuclear reactor design is called the Hualong-1. The Hualong-1 is a great nuclear reactor design, but the Chinese didn't design it. What happened was Westinghouse built a reactor called the AP1000. Then in 2017, due to regulatory burdens, forcing Westinghouse to redesign the power plant after the Fukushima disaster, which was ridiculous given that the reactors being built with the AP1000 design were nowhere near a fault line or the coast, Westinghouse went bankrupt due to the reactor. Oh my goodness. Joe freaking workouts. How are you doing? Girl, I hit a freaking PR. Hit 425 for squat, and then I hit 440. So we are doing great. Y'all, please, my audience, if you have not followed Joe workouts. Hey, VV Ottership, thank you very much. Charito, welcome on in. King Rhyme, welcome on in. Hey, y'all, thank you so much. By the way, if you like what I do, hit that follow button because we are so close to 2,000. I will give y'all a special reward when we get there. We're gonna do a shout out to Joe. If I can, oh, perfect. My computer's going a bit slow. Thank you very much for the bits, I appreciate that. So, welcome on in everybody from Joe's channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is BullMuscle. I'm a fitness and health streamer. As you can tell, I am at peak bulk cycle, and as a result, we are maxing today. Or rather, I should say we did max. I've done the workout at this point, but we hit max squat today. Tomorrow we're gonna hit max press. Tuesday we'll hit max deadlift, and Wednesday we'll hit max bench. I'm gunning for a total BSD of 1,300 and a press of 225. The first part of that was squatting 440, which we have successfully done. So that's fantastic. So we're gonna go shout out, damn it, turn caps lock off. Shout out, underscore Joe, workouts. I'm not sure it matters, but thank you very much. Y'all, does it help if I unfollow then follow again? I have no idea. But Joe, thank you so much for the raid. I hope your workout was great. I know you typically have to raid and run because you're like me. By the end of the stream, you're like, I want to go lay down and eat something. Sipping purple stuff. Welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. This is awesome. Thank you so much, y'all, for the follows. I appreciate that immensely. Tell you what, I can hit some kettlebell swings in just a moment. Give you all something to watch. But as far as supplements are concerned, I'm pretty old-fashioned when it comes to supplements. I use protein powder, just basic Costco, gold standard whey protein, and the reason for this is very simple. I like its convenience. There is nothing magical or special about whey protein. The only thing whey protein gives you is a very convenient way to hit your protein macro goals for the day. Sometimes if I haven't had a lot of fish, I'll do a little fish oil, and if it's been cloudy or I've been trapped inside, I'll hit a little vitamin D. Since I live in the deep south, typically I get plenty of sunlight, so I don't do vitamin D very often. I also will do 5 grams of creatine a day, just basic creatine monohydrate. You can buy it in a generic package off of Amazon. Keep it nice and simple. I don't take steroids because due to my day job, you can use the day job emoji to find out what that is. I can't. I get tested fairly regularly. So, Willis and Chernobyl are getting cancer-resistant radiation is obviously not that dangerous. Well, okay, so as a nuclear engineer, I was talking about the AP1000 reactor when I came in, but the TLDR on that one is Westinghouse came up with a brilliant design because of US regulations being too stringent and not really applicable to the design. Westinghouse went bankrupt, the Chinese bought it for pennies on the dollar, slapped a new name on, called it the Hualong-1, and there you go. Are supplements necessary? No. You don't have to do supplements if you don't want them. There are a couple that I think are worthwhile, but most supplements are not necessary. Most supplements you can get from a healthy and balanced diet with plenty of vegetables, plenty of fish, plenty of lean meat, and a little bit of healthy carbs, right? Wheat, rice, pasta, potatoes, stuff like that. As far as Chernobyl is concerned, Chernobyl is not proof that nuclear power is dangerous. Chernobyl is proof that communism is dangerous. As a US nuclear engineer, the idea that people think a Chernobyl could happen here is hilarious to me.
It's also really sad. It's physically impossible, and the reasons are very simple. There's something called a void coefficient. Void coefficient is how much voids, or pockets of steam, are filling in a boiling water reactor where you're boiling water to generate steam, and the steam turns the turbine creates electricity. In Chernobyl, you had a dangerously high positive void coefficient. In pretty much every US reactor, you have a negative coefficient. In Chernobyl, you had graphite-tipped rods, which made the reactor extremely unstable at startup and shutdown. In US reactors, you don't do this. The fuel rods and the control rods are made out of solid boron, usually. Or the control rods are made out of boron, sorry. The fuel rods are obviously uranium, usually. But this is exactly what a nuclear engineer would want us to believe. So moving on from that, right? The other thing is Chernobyl was a terrible design. And what really pisses me off about it is the Soviets had actually come up with a pretty decent nuclear reactor design called the VVER, and they chose to use the RBMK instead because it allowed them to take the resultant byproduct from the fuel rods and turn it into cheap bombs. Simply put, again, and then on top of that, right, ironically, what caused Chernobyl was the reactor operator screwing around out of protocol for a safety test of all things. Basically, the point here is that Chernobyl is a poster child for why communism is a bad idea. Westinghouse is American, don't be stupid. Do you know Pebble Bed reactor? I do. Communism versus capitalism. No, capitalism is the better system, and communism has resulted in untold misery for millions of people. And again, Chernobyl is the poster child for why Soviet-style communism is a terrible idea. Fukushima is very different. Okay, so Fukushima occurred because of, even for Japan standards, an extremely high earthquake, a magnitude 9. Oops. Didn't move this far enough back. It was called the Tohoku earthquake. It's a magnitude 9 quake. And then on top of that, it was because TEPCO ignored regulators' advice to move the backup diesel generators out from under the seawall. Fukushima basically can't happen here in the United States as well. We have too many backups, right? And I can explain. The one people are most concerned about is Diablo Canyon in California. So Diablo Canyon, yes, it is on a fault line. The entire state of California is basically a fault line. But that fault line is really only prone to about a magnitude 7 earthquake, whereas Japan, magnitude 9. Big difference. That is a factor of 100, okay? You gotta remember, the Richter scale is exponential. Or logarithmic, excuse me. It's off the power of 10, right? Here's the amount of redundancies at the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. First redundancy. If one reactor gets hit, coolant can be provided from the other reactor. Second level of redundancy. If the reactors have to shut down, cooling power can be provided from the rest of the grid in the state of California. Third redundancy. Each reactor has a backup diesel generator. So that's 2 reactors, 2 generators. Fourth redundancy. Each backup diesel generator has another backup diesel generator. This is what's called N+1 redundancy, and it is the gold standard to which every US nuclear reactor must comply. Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a fission bomb. It was Fat Boy and Little Man. I know intimately about how those works, but I can't really talk about that. Fusion bombs, the first fusion bomb was the hydrogen bomb developed in the early 1950s by the United States and then blatantly stolen by the Soviets. By the way, my grandfather was a nuclear physicist for the Army and then for General Electric. We didn't realize this until after he died because he didn't tell us, but he worked on the hydrogen bomb in the 50s. Raccoon City Survivor, thanks for the first time chat. What is my zodiac sign, Bull? Am I a Taurus? I am a Taurus, but that's not why my name is BullMuscle. It's just kind of a nice optional extra. The biggest reason is that I'm a perpetual optimist when it comes to investing. Today is Financial Fitness Friday. See this bottom left corner about being able to retire early? Excuse me. And as a result, I'm what most people would call a stock market bull. I think things are getting better and they're going to continue to get better. Optimism is a hard thing to find in today's social media doom-scrolling brain rot world, and I try my best to remain optimistic. Hey, I did get a big Ray at Hot Sauce. Let me get you a shout out. Y'all, if you like a good streamer, check out Lesbian Hot Sauce. She's been trying her best to get back in the gym, but has had a few medical setbacks. Check out John is hiding in the box. I shouted him out earlier. Y'all, there are so many good fitness and health streamers. This is the best community on Twitch, and I absolutely love all the peeps who come in. And Joe, thank you so much for the raid. Y'all, Joe Workouts, if you have not followed her, go do so. She's built her own gym at this point. She's starting her own business, and her content is excellent. And she's always very good about rating smaller streamers like myself. And it's so greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. I have a Taurus friend, y'all are loyal AF. I'm an engineer, so I don't really put a whole lot of faith into astrology. Hate to burst your bubble there. That being said, I do use Strong Like Bull as a way to psych up. Oh, for God's sake, Westinghouse is in America. Dude, I know old workers at Westinghouse. Good God. Sometimes it's needed when it's a tough gym day. Tell me about it. Oh, I must have, this is a channel you're shouting out does not exist. I must have fat-fingered it. Lesbian. I think I did lesbian hot sauce. My bad. Shout out. Okay, I think I actually spelled it right this time. There we go. Go give her a follow. So we have very different outlooks on life because of the way we were raised and what we currently do. If you are progressive or even a leftist, go check her out. You'll love her channel. I love it, and I don't even agree with her on most things. In fact, we love to kind of shit talk each other. It's fun. All right, let's do another set of kettlebells. Well, then we'll talk about the stock market because I was meaning to do that. 3, 4, 5. We'll do a set of 25. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's do one-handed. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Nice. Speaking of great Russian inventions, the Russians invented the kettlebell. It's a fantastic piece of workout equipment. So they can do good things. All right, let's write down what we had for protein. Let's see. We had 2 by 6, and then 20 at 185 for lunge, 125 for lunge, and then at 55 for kettlebell swings. There we go. Any friends you don't agree with, rather than people being like read on the internet. It's the fun part, yeah. Do you know plasma astrophysics any? Not really, that's not my wheelhouse. SMR is a small nuclear reactor in submarines. So the naval reactor for a submarine is not technically an SMR. In the United States, those are actually miniaturized PWR reactors. The SMR is a newer style reactor, a Gen 4 reactor, built by the company NuScale, and they use slightly different technology as far as cooling is concerned. One's passively cooled, one's actively cooled, but only the biggest nuclear reactor nerds are going to care about that difference. I am, because it's my job. Well, okay. Technically speaking, my job isn't with reactors, but you get the idea. And Russian kettlebell uses you to work out. That being said, for those of you who are concerned about nuclear waste, we have had technology to consume nuclear waste for power in the United States since 1964. There was an experimental reactor called EBR-2, Experimental Breeder Reactor 2, that produced stable power, not much because it was a prototype, it was experimental, but stable power from 1964 until Congress shut it down in 1994. We have that tech. The reason it was stymied was because the NRC and Congress scuttled it in the late 1970s after 3 Mile Island. A reactor accident that I will mention killed 0 people, and even to the workers only gave a dose of radiation equivalent to a flight from Los Angeles to New York. Experimental breeder reactor. Yeah, for those of you who are in here for the NSFW reasons, insert your own joke here. I've actually mentioned this on the Discord. All right, cover junkie, man, you gotta quit with the conspiracies, man. Not everything is a fucking conspiracy. You're in here talking like Dale Gribble from King of the Hill. Do you know of CME events? Are you talking about like an electromagnetic pulse, like what's coming from the sun sometimes. Kupo K, how you doing? Welcome on in. I'm gonna do one more set of kettlebell swings, but first we're gonna have a nice look at the stock market here because it is Financial Fitness Friday. For those of you who don't know, this thing down here in the bottom left corner, I will be financially independent before I turn 30 years old. What does financial independence mean? It means if I wanted to, I could quit working for the rest of my life and not have to worry about paying my bills. Will I do that? Maybe. Probably not based on this new job I've got coming up, which is going to take me west. By the way, that reminds me, if any of y'all want to work out with me in real life or hang out or whatever, join my Discord because, you type !Discord for the link, because, right, as I move west, I'm going to be looking for people to hang out with. It's one of my favorite things to do when I travel. So if you, so I'm in South Carolina right now, so if you live in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, maybe spending several days in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, or Oregon, let me know. Right now, I'm either going to move to, it's looking like either Washington State in the Pacific Northwest or Hawaii out in the Pacific Ocean. Why do we not have free energy technology? Because that's not how thermodynamics works. Perpetual motion machines violate the laws of thermodynamics. It's not how thermodynamics works. Now, we could, if we wanted to, make nuclear energy, as the optimists in the 50s said, quote unquote, too cheap to meter. The problem is that the regulatory burdens in the United States and licensing and permitting makes nuclear extremely expensive, simply put. So, depending on what you mean by free, Cover Junkie, thank you very much for the follow, by the way. I appreciate that. Using this house, Lisa, in this house we obey the laws of thermodynamics. Free is not by private hands, free for public control. Yeah, because publicly controlled nuclear reactors have never gone wrong before. Chernobyl. I'd rather private companies run that. Thanks. Do you have Chainlink Investments? Is that related to cryptocurrency? The furthest I don't buy individual crypto stock. I don't buy individual cryptocurrencies. I don't know the space well enough to feel confident in investing in crypto, but I do own Coinbase stock, and it is Coinbase posted their first profit in several years. Looks like Bitcoin's roaring back, and because FTX went down the shitter and Binance also went down the shitter, Coinbase is more or less the only one in town. That was my bull thesis when I bought the stock, and it's working really well. So Coinbase for me, absolutely rocking it, which I'm thrilled about. I don't own any individual cryptocurrencies. Half of Bull's portfolios actually NFTs. I love NFTs in the sense that if you bought them in 2021, you kind of got what you deserve. Like, how could you? Like, sometimes, right? There's a sucker born every minute, that sort of thing. A little PT Barnum action there. But as far as other companies I'm interested in, most of my funds are in the should be state controlled. Strongly disagree with that. Private enterprise has a very strong and very good history here in the United States. As far as other stocks I'm invested in, Re-Automotive, I think that's sort of my swing for the fences, high risk, high reward kind of stock. It's an Israeli startup that does not autonomous, but drive-by-wire and steer-by-wire vehicles, which creates a cargo van that has a superior packaging efficiency relative to, say, a Ford Transit or a Chevrolet Express. Obviously, the recent I've owned this stock since well before the most recent skirmishes between Israel and Palestine. I don't really have a strong opinion there. So I own the stock because I think the company is going to do well, not because I have some say regarding Israel and Palestine. TSM says, curious your thoughts on owning cash flowing real estate. As far as cash flow and real estate is concerned, I do own my own house and I do have roommates, which they get very cheap rent and I get a little bit, they're paying for a good chunk of my mortgage, but I'm not a huge fan of owning one's own real estate. I'm a bigger fan of REITs. But as far as real estate is concerned, I actually have a little bit of my portfolio in, and I'll go ahead and start drawing this on the whiteboard. By the way, for those of you who are here for health and fitness, I'm sorry. We finished the workout, so I'm kind of done with that. I'm pretty sore, and I've got a max press tomorrow, so I don't want to overdo it. For those of you who are looking for a good way to get into real estate but don't want to buy property, I'm a huge fan of VNQ. This is a real estate index fund sold by Vanguard and has a reasonable cost ratio, has a pretty good dividend yield as well. So I'm a big fan of that. Make me flex a muscle or pose for the... Whew, okay. This hot sauce, you got it. Let me grab paper towel, actually. Grab that. Let's go for quads today. We hit squats, so we'll hit quads. Go get the hockey legs there. You see 1, 2. There were more lines and cuts, but because we're on bulk cycle, they're not quite as well defined now. Right, show off the quads. Looking good there. Crypto is valued. Flat fiat dollar W, you're bankrupt with Biden. Dude, get off. Dude, you need to... Cover junkie, man, you got to quit spewing conspiracies in here. Look, I'm a huge fan of freedom of speech and everything, but man, you're just spewing bullshit at this point. It sounds to me like you've been listening to too much InfoWars. The United States isn't going bankrupt anytime soon. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Anyway, as far as other stocks are concerned, for the most part, I can only engage in bullshit for so long. Cover junkie, no offense, but you're just spewing crap. Like we're getting into serious conspiracy. Oh, you must have missed it, hot sauce. I think that's what we have on our hands. I don't. It's all good. That's the other thing. Sipping Purple, couldn't agree with it more. I'm a huge fan of Stoicism. By the way, finished Marcus Aurelius's meditations last week, and I'm a huge fan. Dude, he's literally just spewing like buzzwords. Oh Lord. Here's a couple takeaways from Marcus Aurelius's meditations. I thought were really profound. They were from book 11. Here we go. Consider how much more pain is brought on us by the anger and vexation caused by such acts than by the acts themselves at which we are angry and vexed. This is why I try not to show too much emotion in chat. I'll call bullshit out for being bullshit, but you don't really usually see me get angry in here. Apart from when I'm trying to psych myself up to hit a max. Obviously, right then you gotta get pissed off, get in the zone. Don't waste your breath. I'm trying not to, just trying to see what else we got on the markets today. Looking like another stock I've got a lot of, I'm pretty bullish on, is SoFi. They just started turning a profit. I don't think we're going to see student loans get forgiven. I don't think they should be, frankly. I think there is an argument to be made for capping interest rates at a certain percentage, but I'm not in favor of student loan forgiveness in general. And as such, I don't think that's going to happen. If it didn't happen already in 2021 and 22, it's not going to happen full stop. So I think you're not going to see that happen. As a result, SoFi will be able to continue making profits off of that. But more importantly, SoFi has expanded their business outside of the student loan realm to mortgages, to financial advice, to other sorts of loans, which it seems to me SoFi is trying to target higher income, higher credit score people in general, which means they're going to have a lower delinquency rate than the average bank. And I think this is going to be a good, it's going to be what sets them apart. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Anyway, let's see here. Other stocks I recommend. VTI is always my favorite. I'm something of a boglehead. Majority of my portfolio is invested in broad, low-cost index funds within Vanguard. So this is S&P 500. That's going to be your VTI, your blue chips, Coca-Cola, Home Depot, things like that. Need to start funding education again. Now, I'm much more in favor of subsidizing trade schools and vocational schools because I think that's based on the number of shortages in skills like carpentry, skills like plumbing, electrical work, welding. First off, these are trades that are usually unionized, and union jobs tend to pay more. So obviously, I think the unions need to work with the vocational schools to try and create a pipeline there. I think that's where some positive government intervention could come in. I think a lot of people of my generation, in particular the millennials, less so I think the Zoomers and Generation Alpha's woken up to it a bit, have been sold a bag of goods by high school administrators, and college administrators that had an interest in getting as many people as possible to go to college, even though college may not have made sense. My biggest and strongest advice to anyone considering going to school for an educational degree like college, please do an ROI calculation. Calculate the return on investment that you intend to get, what kind of salary you expect to make, how you expect to make it, and when you expect to make it after you get your degree, and compare that to continuing the status quo without a degree. It's extremely important to do that, and I don't think enough people do an ROI based on their language, their study areas. I would only go if I had a full ride. So, I had to, thankfully my dad fought in the US military, so the GI Bill covered a chunk of my education, but I went to an affordable state school where I also got some grants, and I worked to pay for a good chunk of my education as well. I'm acknowledging my privilege there because my dad fought for the United States Air Force, right? I didn't have to pay the full upfront cost of tuition. The other thing too is I got really good grades in high school, and I didn't go for an Ivy League school that was going to cost me $500,000 to get a degree. I chose Texas A&M, which was it's a very good school for mechanical engineering in particular, but as far as big schools go, it's much more affordable. Another good one is community college. Take community college the first 2 years, keep the bills down, even better if you can live at home, and then for the final 2 years, right, where you're hitting the real high-end collegiate material. So for engineering, this would be things like, solid mechanics, right, high-grade heat transfer classes, a lot of those electives, right, they're still mechanical engineering classes. Those are the ones you want to get at the nice, prestigious four-year university, but you're not usually getting those until junior and senior year. Freshman and sophomore year, you're usually going to be doing, if you're an engineer, calculus, physics, thermodynamics, fluids, basic electrical engineering courses like circuits, which are really important building block classes, but you can learn those classes just as well at a community college or a smaller university than at the big four-year university. So there are ways to cut down on educational costs. I really hate when boomers say they paid for their schooling. You didn't grant by college funding tank because of Reaganomics and schools clawing revenue from banks. That's the other issue, right? With student loan forgiveness, what will happen if it is unchecked is that student loan forgiveness will occur and universities will say, oh, so the government's just going to forgive it, we're going to raise our prices. You have to find a way to staunch the cost of school before you can even talk about forgiveness. And I don't think that's a conversation that's had as much. And the way you staunch the costs of 4 years education is introduce competitors that can provide just as good a salary with their product as a four-year degree university. And how do you do that? Vocational schools. How do you do that? Community colleges, right? You have to make the universities compete. That's the goal. That's the key. Like a turtle and peanut butter. That's a sentence. How much is needed to live off of dividends? Well, it really depends on what your expenses are. And let's talk about financial independence, right? So what is financial independence? I'm just equals when job is greater than expenses. Real simple, okay? You are financially independent when you can get some source of income that is not from your day job to be greater than your expenses. The trucking industry, I would not go and become a trucker right now. I think as time goes on, autonomous vehicles are going to start creeping in there. Moreover, trucking, this is again government subsidies caused by, you knew it was going to come, the Interstate Highways Act of 1956 and its consequences, but in general, for the mass shipping of goods, you're much better off with trains. And I think there's a day of reckoning coming for that. Trucking is an inherently inefficient way to move most goods. You can be financially independent, that's on God. Absolutely. But so if your income, right, is greater than your expenses, you're financially independent. So how does one get FI? How to get FI? Step one, earn income. Right, obviously, if you're not making any money, you can't save any money. If you're not saving money, you can't invest money. And if you are not investing money, you're never going to get passive income. So you got to earn your money, right? This one's very easy. I think most people can kind of understand that. Now, to a point. And this is the part most people don't understand. High income jobs are great, but if your high income job means you don't have the time to take care of the rest of your life, you're constantly spending a shit ton of money, you're no closer to financial independence than if you're living paycheck to paycheck on $20,000. It is possible to live paycheck to paycheck on $20,000, on $50,000, on $80,000, and on $400,000. So number 2 is the most important one. Control your spending. Nobody likes this part. This is the financial equivalent. This is the financial equivalent to me telling you to eat your fucking vegetables. If you can't control your spending, you're never going to make progress towards building a developing passive income. You have to get savings. It's that simple. You have to spend, if you want to get financially independent, you have to spend substantially less than you make. You want your savings rate, if you want to get financial independence, the sooner you get it, the higher that savings rate has to be. And based on, I've talked about this, I've made the chart before, I'm not going to do that, I don't have enough space on the page or on the board here, but if you get, in general, right, assuming you go with broad-based index funds and you get a roughly average historical performance, if you save 5% of your income, you will need 50, 60 years career to retire. 10%, 45 years, 20%, 30 years, 50%, 17 years, 75%, 10 years, 80%, 7 years, okay? So the bigger a proportion of your income that you can save relative to how much you're spending, the faster you will gain financial independence. And this is why, right? Time is on your side, okay? How do I mean by that? So there is a triple compounding effect from lowering your expenses. The first is you have more money, right? This one's kind of obvious, but it goes by being said. If you don't spend money, you can save money, right? Now, if you can make that a permanent habit, you will have that same more money every month. So it's a double effect there. And the triple and most important part is what Albert Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. When you let your money work for you with the historical rate of return from broad-based index funds, you will get a rough return after inflation of about 7%. What does this mean? It means your money, if left alone and getting historical averages, will roughly double about every 10 years. So, if you are saving lots of money, then that money is going to start making money for you. Money begets money. This is why, right, people like Warren Buffett, right, they're making a fine salary, right, as a CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. But Warren Buffett's money very little of Warren Buffett's money these days is coming from his salary. Almost all of it is coming from returns on investment because he's got so much money in the stock market. And in general, because humanity is continuing to advance itself and develop and create more economic growth, the stock market goes up. And when it goes up, you get more money. Really simple. What if I can't control my spending and send you 10 gift subs? Monkey, I would appreciate that. It's always any subs, follows, all that stuff is very flattering. I've even got a tip page. You can type !tip if you want to not give Jeff Bezos any of your money. Because remember, gift subs are 50% to Amazon. But the point is, I don't do this for the money. I have my day job, and that's more or less where the majority of my income comes from. I get peanuts from Twitch. That's not why I do this. I do this because I like having fun and I like helping people. So do we have any questions? You're not making money from salary. Exactly. nobody, right? Berkshire Hathaway can't afford to pay Warren Buffett billions of dollars per year, and they don't. What do they do instead, right? Well, Warren Buffett just, invests in stocks. Peanuts are yummy. Yes, I like peanuts too. I've been avoiding gifting subs, so I think it would disappoint you given my situation. Good. Yeah, save your money. I don't need it, y'all. I'm always very flattered, right? I'm always very flattered when people tip me or when people gift sub or even when just people follow, but I never ever want this to be a job. This is my fun thing that I like doing on the weekends because I like helping people, and that's it. So, if you really like me and you like what I do, first off, give Jeff Bezos the middle finger and tip directly. If you feel you must, you can go to Stream Elements and go there. Yeah, Elon got denied $50 billion because the Delaware Chancery Court decided to do a little bit of trolling. And now Elon's all butthurt about it, trying to get other corporations to delist from Delaware. And none of the other corporations are like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Sometimes, right, so the deal that you get as a business in Delaware is so good that most corporations recognize Elon's whining is like, the benefits from Elon's whining is not going to be worth the costs of de-incorporating from Delaware. So it's going to get Elon nowhere, which is really funny. I love Tesla, by the way. I was a longtime Tesla hater because we were non-union workers, and in general, I do support unions, but the Model S is a superior electric product, and honestly, the Model 3 is a great car too. Elon, at this point, I think, harms Tesla more than helps Tesla. Elon was a great salesman to get Tesla off the ground, but it's not necessary anymore. Big Beam, oh, thanks for the tip, bro. See, I will say, if you feel you must give me a little something as a thank you present, never ever do it by sub unless you just have them to burn, because half that money goes to Twitch, and Twitch is owned by Amazon. So unless you like making Jeff Bezos' pockets even fatter, do a direct tip. Much more efficient. We're literally shopping for the new Model 3 right now. If I was a multimillionaire, I would get a Model S, but I am not a multimillionaire, and I like having, as you guys saw with the whiteboard, I am very financially responsible. So instead, what do I drive? I drive a cheap, indestructible economy shitbox. Well, it's not a shitbox, but it's a 6-year-old Chevrolet Volt. 7-year-old Chevrolet Volt, I should say now. And it gets the job done. I think coffee takes less money. I do have Buy Me a Coffee on there as well. I actually think it's the Converse. I'll check. Oh, thank you guys for the tips. That's very kind of you. I'm pretty sure Buy Me a Coffee takes more. I could be wrong about that. I actually do have a Cash App link if you guys really want the 100% direct, but don't worry about it. I'm very flattered. Thank you very much, but honestly, keep your money. I don't need it. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys. One thing Jeff Bezos does, those beautiful domes in Seattle. It's like an indoor jungle. Those do look really cool. I will say that's pretty cool architecture. But thank the architect for Amazon. Don't just thank Bezos. That was really well done. I agree. Those big domes in Seattle look baller as hell. Are there fast dividends? Well, yes and no. I mean, fast profit. So, all right, I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta use the bathroom. I'm itching for a pee, but I'll explain that one in just a second. So, sorry about that. I couldn't hold it anymore. That was driving me nuts. Are there fast dividend profits? Yes and no. Red or black, I don't do gambling. If you're gonna gamble, you might as well play with options on Wall Street. The odds are better than Vegas. So with regards to dividends, you can go for high dividend yield stock. My favorite way to do this is VYM. This is a Vanguard high dividend yield portfolio, but you're only going to get 2, 3, 4% dividends from most stocks. Any stocks that are going 7, 8, 9, 10% dividends are often doing so unsustainably and are not reinvesting enough of their money into the actual running of the business. Most businesses run relatively small profit margins. As a result, having a dividend where you are coughing up 10% of your profit or more to the shareholders every quarter, it's just not sustainable. I learned this the hard way with an REIT that I bought back in like 2018, 2019 that had a really good dividend, and I tried to chase yield, and the stock value tanked because it was giving out too much money in the form of dividends relative to how much it was reinvesting and keeping the business going. As for Vegas and roulette, not a fan of gambling. Roulette is fine, I guess. I would usually bet red. Blizzmule, thoughts on Berkshire A versus B stocks. So most Berkshire Hathaway stock is comprised of buying other shares in big S&P 500 style companies. I'm more of a boglehead, and as much as I love Berkshire Hathaway as an investment vehicle, I think I'm better off with just basic VTI Vanguard investment funds. I'm very simple. Look, if it was good enough for Charlie Munger and Jack Bogle and Warren Buffett, Mr. Money Mustache, and my own father, it's good enough for me. Galaris, the only thing I would bet on is me being a hottie winner every time. Aw, thank you. I don't love the way I'm looking right now, but I'm hitting such weight in the gym that I don't care. VTI does make it easy. And I don't do exclusively VTI. I'm a big fan of VO and VB. That's your mid and small cap stocks. VXUS for international diversity. Get some of those German, French, British, Japanese, Korean, Australian companies in there, right? VYM if you want a little bit of dividends. VDE is a good one for me. It's a little bit of energy stocks because oil and gas is the way of the present. It's not going away. I think we should try as fast as possible to get away from coal, oil, and gas usage, but I'm also not, my head isn't up my ass. I understand the realities of our need for them in the present time. Most Vanguard ETFs have very low expense ratios. It's the other reason I like it. Got to pay down that debt before you invest? Yes. Okay, so Big Game Mikey is hitting something very important here. If you have debt above about a 5% interest rate, you should put more money towards paying that off than any investment. And the reason, except with the exception of a 401k match, because that's free money from a company. The reason for this is very simple. Let's say you're paying debt off at a 10% interest rate. That means every dollar you pay off in principal on that debt, you are getting an automatic return on that investment of that paying off of 10%. Very few stocks will ever give you a guaranteed 10% return on investment rate. That is a risk-free 10% return. That's incredible. Excuse me. That's incredible. You have credit card debt at 25%. You should treat that like your hair is on fire. I'm stealing from Mr. Money Mustache here, but I can't come up with a better analogy. That your hair is on fire and you're being attacked by a swarm of killer bees. You need to take as much precaution. Eat fucking lentils and potatoes if you got to. Cut your expenses to the absolute bone to pay off high interest debt, like credit card debt. Most credit card debt is 25 to 30% interest. That is insane. If you have credit card debt at that interest rate, you're screwing yourself badly. You're bending yourself over so Capital One and American Express and Visa can make bigger profits. Don't do that. I forget the steps, but I'm pretty sure 1 equals debt, 2 is emergency fund, 3 is 401k matches. It depends on what the interest rates are. If you only have low interest rate debt, for instance, my mortgage is at 2.375%. That's debt, but it's at such a low interest rate that I'm better off investing in other things because 2.3% interest, even a bond, which is as near as makes no difference, a 100% secure return, is going to get you better return, better yield than 2.375 at this point. So it depends on what the interest rate is. I keep credit card debt because I feel bad for the little credit card companies. TSM, but what I want you to do is take your own face and just, okay, you need to do that as many times as you have to not pay high interest rate credit card debt. I know you're probably shit posting, but for the love of God, no, pay off your high interest debt as fast as possible. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap up the stream. Let's go ahead. I'll give you guys another minute or two to ask any other questions. If you want more content, please hit the Discord. It's right there. There we go. I will be live at the same time tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to be hitting max on press, so it's going to be strict shoulder press. If things go well, I'm going to hit 225. Really, that's going to be the big part of it. The rest of the workouts this week, because it's max week, are going to be I'm going to take it a little easier. And then next week will probably be some sort of a deload, and then we're going to look to do, we're going to look to start the cut cycle, because this can't fly. If I'm moving west to a state with the best beaches in the world, this has got to go. So, do you think the country could go back to Native American times? You mean like pre-Columbus, pre-1492? Fuck no. No, it couldn't. You got to remember, the natives that existed here before Columbus were extremely prone to pretty much every major disease that occurred east of the Atlantic Ocean. Smallpox is the big one. Yellow fever is another. Now, the natives did get the European colonists back with syphilis, but any of those native societies were doomed from the start, because when the initial European colonizers in the 1400s and 1500s came over, now some of them, like Hernan Cortez, were actually fucking brutal and used disease as a bioweapon, but most settlers did not understand, right? We didn't understand how germs worked. We didn't understand germ theory until the, late 1800s? So, right, in those days, neither the colonists nor the natives knew the biological risks of what was occurring. The vast majority of American Indian population had already died by 1700. Why was this? Disease. Smallpox in particular. Smallpox killed off more native tribes and societies than any settlers did. Again, the American Indian population in the 1500s was orders of magnitude larger than it was in the 1700s, and disease was the reason that it fell. No money, no dollars, no. Capitalism's here to stay. Deal with it. Porthos, good to see you. Man, we hit a new PR today on SQUATS, so I'm pretty happy about that. I always wondered how they did the whole bioweapon thing with giving natives blankets. They have labs so they're good with smallpox. No, you could just, right, smallpox, people knew it was contagious in the same way that they knew the Black Plague was contagious, and so it just used dead bodies. Like they're like, okay, this person was sick. I think in those days, the theory was miasma. It was the air that sick people breathed, or some sort of stench around the air around them that was like somehow transferred. I don't know what the exact theory that was the major one before germ theory came out. The point is that yes, you had true bastards like Hernan Cortez that used it as a bioweapon, but the vast majority of settlers did not intend to deliberately infect and kill most of the American Indian population, because we were too ignorant as a species. Humanity was too ignorant to understand how transmissibility and the immune system worked in the colonial days. So the people who say it was genocide, I can't really get behind that as a term. Now, you want to talk about fucked up, right? The Trail of Tears was fucked up because that was conscious. But like, the diseases that ravaged native populations in the 1600s, no, that was unfortunately an inevitability, but nobody at that time knew that was what was going to happen. I don't know how capitalism will survive AI. It'll find a way. AI ain't quite where it needs to be. There are going to be new fields of innovation. A lot of people didn't think capitalism would survive the Industrial Revolution, and it did. Automation and AI are coming for capitalism, and disagree. Capitalism exists, real competition exists. Oh God. Private banking cartels control debt currency. Man. The other reason I'm a huge fan of capitalism, just basic, simple, honest-faced capitalism, is because for the most part, it puts the responsibility of success on you. I'm a huge fan of focusing on that which I can control. This is a big part of Stoicism, right? Stoicism says, don't worry that much about that which is out of your hands. I actually can read a quote from that, but we need to wrap up. The point here is very simple. Focus on what you can do, given the current and existing system you work in, to thrive as much as possible. That's what I try to do. There's a game called Monopoly. Yeah. That's not how actual capitalism works, but It's all good understanding one. I appreciate that. Living for bills. Epictetus, there's another really great Stoic philosopher. Can we go to socialism? Fuck no. I mean, we can, but it's a really bad idea. Go look at how Venezuela is doing. Go look at how North Korea is doing. Go look at how Cuba is doing. Socialism is not a good solution. Should there be constraints to capitalism? Yes, but going full socialist is a really bad idea. Socialism's virtue, and I think I'm quoting Churchill or paraphrasing Churchill here, socialism's virtue is the equal sharing of misery, while capitalism's vice is the unequal sharing of blessings. Socialism's not the only option. It's rigged. That's it. Quit the victim mentality. It's not rigged against you. You just got to find a way to work harder. Now, is it easier if you have inherited wealth? Absolutely. And am I in favor of a higher estate tax? Totally. But no, if you bust ass, you can still make it in the world. UBI will be the only option. Strongly disagree. Central banking is private banks printing money. Jesus Christ. Oh, we are getting democratic socialism like Europe. See, the European economy is really sputtering right now. The American economy is doing a lot better by pretty much every metric. Unemployment rates are lower. Wages are rising faster here. We're doing better, believe it or not. In fact, right now, unemployment rates are the lowest they have been in this country since the late 1960s. This idea of everything's doomed, everything's terrible, we're gonna have to have a revolution. It's loser talk. You guys are better than that. Believe in yourselves. Bet on yourselves. Have some confidence and kick the world's ass, because each and every one of you has something to bring to the table. You need to believe in that. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. But if you adopt a victim mentality out of the gate, all you're doing is setting yourself up for the failure you envision in your head. View yourself as someone who is going to be successful, and success will find you. And never stop working hard. Always give 100%. Because if you're giving 100% and you fail, well, at least you can walk away knowing you tried your best. I know a lot of people, I think, give up on that idea. And maybe it's old-fashioned, but it's worked out really fucking well for me, I will say. Is capitalism the best? Capitalism is imperfect, and I'm going to paraphrase Churchill again. Capitalism is much like democracy in this way. Both are the worst systems in the world, except for all the other systems we've tried. As far as fractional reserve lending is exactly how it works. Was Native America better? No. All right, you guys are shitposting at this point. Let's go ahead and look. Let's go ahead and look for a raid here. I think we're pretty much done. Plus, I gotta get a new pair of tires on my car. I found some decent ones. My car's at about 90,000 miles, so I saved up. I've got a couple $100 in reserve to buy some tires. That's probably what I'm gonna go do after this is done. Anywho, who do we got? We got Limitless Fitness. We've got W. Ramir. I'm gonna raid. Oh, Limitless is doing legs. Let's go do that. Do I know of natural law? In the sense that the Stoics believed in it, yes, I do. Hey, is it true EVs go through tires faster? Yes, because most EVs do, because in general they're heavier. You got to remember, right? You got to compare apples to apples. A Ford F-250 will go through tires faster than a Tesla Model 3. The reason being that the Ford F-250 is heavier. Cover junkie, dude, you have fallen down the conspiracy rabbit hole. Bless your heart. Not shitposting at all. We just had a different view of what's next. I agree. And the other thing too is I will find a way to win. I have the will to win. That will make sure no matter what the system is, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to fucking thrive. You gotta be built with that mindset. Yeah, sorry, Eddie. We're just about to head out. It's past noon and I'm exhausted. I did hit 440 for a PR though. So, all right, we're going to do a special raid message today. All right, the raid message. Does it matter to vote for blue or red? Yes, it matters that you vote. Civic duty is extremely important. Do you like Amish society? I respect it, but I wouldn't want to live in it. Right, what am I doing to you guys right now? I'm talking over the internet through, a computerized video stream. If I lived in Amish society, I couldn't do that. Raccoon City Survivor, come join the Discord. We'll talk about that more there. Sipping purple stuff. If you really believe that, go join the Amish. They always take newcomers, but I bet you won't. Because you're talking, you're saying we don't need cars and electricity, sitting here and talking using electricity. All right, so there's the new raid message. We're going to go ahead and raid Limitless Fitness. Limitless Fitness. She is awesome, y'all. Taylor is doing really great. Sipping purple stuff. Look, there's very few things I will ban you for, but I strongly believe in civic duty. Fuck that. Vote. So we're going to raid Limitless Fitness. She's awesome, y'all. Enjoy. I will be live again at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And I'll be doing press then. So it should be a good time. I will see y'all on that side. Okay, it's the raid is deciding to be really slow. I don't know why that is. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today, y'all. Thank you very much for coming in. Thanks for the raids, the tips. Joe workouts, as always, fantastic. As always, y'all, make good decisions. As good decisions form your habits. As habits form your values. As values form ethos to be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Please let me raid. I don't know why the raid message is running so slow today. It's like counting down really, really slow. Come on. Catch up. What the fuck are we doing here? Come on. I can't. It's not letting me it's not letting me hit the raid now button. Patience. Come on. Jesus Christ. Just fucking... It's sitting here, it's going like 8, 7. It's still on 8 seconds. It's like frozen. What the fuck? Why is my computer running so slow today? Fucking hell. Patience, y'all. Well, we're gonna raid. It's just deciding to be really annoying right now. Jesus Christ, come on. I have all day. Nor do my viewers. For fuck's sake. Let me hit that raid now button. The fuck is it? What is my computer doing? Oh, why did it automatically do it? Oh, I guess it did. All right. All right. Well, that's going to be it for me, y'all. I don't know why my computer's acting up all of a sudden, but